Futures back to the upside here this morning as we get going into what is now 11 and a half trading days left in 2025. What a year it's been. Back and forth for the past couple of days, back and forth for the past couple of weeks. An absolute deluge of economic data to come over the next couple of days. We'll get 3 separate CPI readings. We'll get 2 different NFP prints as we continue to work through this backlog of jobs data and inflation-related data going back to the government shutdown. That's how things are setting up right now. Back to the downside a little bit here at 8 o'clock, but still holding above where we ended the day on Friday. Absolute sell-off right from the word go on Friday. We went out on the lows ahead of what could be an interesting read on the overall market this week with this data coming up. Does it even matter at this point? We'll go back to September. We'll get October. We'll get November as well. On the inflation side of things, we haven't had a real reading on inflation since that September print, if you can believe that. So we'll talk about that coming up. Lots of individual movers as well. If you have a Roomba, you may no longer be able to get it fixed outside of secondary markets. IRBT filing for Chapter 11 down to a dollar. What is it? $1.37 right now. It's bouncing back above. $1 was below initially this morning in the pre-market, but we are back above. Went out on Friday around $4.50, so no more Roombas if anyone was in the market going into the holidays for a Roomba. Not going to be happening at this point. Interesting couple of stories around Tesla this morning as well, including a big payday for their board, $3 billion plus being collected by their board going back to that investor meeting and what has transpired ever since. SpaceX with a new valuation. We have a couple of earnings reports coming up, nothing major this week, but all eyes back on AI. I was just reading a positive note on NVDA this morning, back to the upside a little bit. To start things off this morning, actually trying to lead the market here a little bit, market downside. There's NVIDIA testing that 177.60 area that came into play midday on Friday. Positive note on NVIDIA, basically saying 2026 is going to mirror what has happened in 2025 as far as the demand is concerned. Some of the other AI-related names popping up on that as well. Brand new week, guys. Again, 11 and a half days left in this year. Pretty crazy to think about it. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I mean, it is crazy. Christmas is coming around the corner. Not that much time left. Trading days left. Worth noting, though, if you're looking at the futures, we got witching this week. So triple witching on Friday. So you want to roll over to your January contract if you haven't done so already. Expecting probably a lot of window dressing at the end of the week, but we also have some earnings this week with Micron. So we'll look forward to that. They should be a big mover, but man, iRobot. Like, so unfortunate. Like it was like the group was just running. You were all systems go on the robotics things, and yeah, now they're talking Chapter 11. It is making a bit of a dead cat bounce, let's just say. So a lot of volume here for iRobot. Actually, up pretty significantly. It was actually about 75 cents and almost doubled. So it is quite on the move to the upside for now, but a down move there for iRobot, unfortunately. Yeah, not looking too good for them. And I'll tell you this much, I'm happy because Superman was in the building yesterday with my Buffalo Bills. And Josh Allen did.
I see in the second half you were telling them, or in the first half you were saying blow the whole team up. I thought I saw in our chat.
I wasn't saying blow the whole team.
I thought I said in the chat. I thought I saw something in our fantasy chat there.
No, I was just mad at. I was mad at how badly outcoached we were in the first half. All I simply say every single time is it's great that he's Superman and we do this in the second half every time, but you cannot do this. It doesn't work that way. You can't go down 21 points all the time. Like, you can't be under the 8 ball every single game and then just expect Josh Allen to save you every single time. It's not a winning strategy in the playoffs. It's fantastic that they're pulling it off, but I mean, you can't do this every single week. And, I place the blame on the coaching, but it is what it is. I haven't liked Brady in a long time. That being said, too many injuries.
Too many injuries, man. Yeah, we lost Parsons, and then they lost. Mahomes' this season was done.
The season was over anyway.
Yeah, it's funny because both Brady and Mahomes tore their ACLs in their 9th season after going for 3 straight Super Bowls. So you can't make can't make that stuff up. But yeah, they'll be back stronger than ever. I think Kelsey will probably retire. Anyways, the curse of Taylor Swift, I guess. Yeah, iRobot, I had them down at 60 when it first was released, 61 cents. as the bottom there for IRBT. So it's up double since declaring bankruptcy. Off of its lows, of course, but $1.33 here. That's not going to be good. Palantir today as well. Palantir down all week. We talked about, Brendan mentioned, what a hit that was on the week for many of these names. The market went out, apparently, I guess. I didn't even look on lows, as Brendan mentioned. Palantir battled back. So we'll wait to see a new contract a little bit there in France. That's going through. There's some unfortunate incidents over the weekend. We hope everybody is okay with that. But, national defense starting to get picked up. And then Tesla off the, $3 billion in payments made out. $465. Wow. Tesla's starting to work out as well. This could be, that next. I mean, it's already here. So Tesla right at highs right now. Just looking to see about that 480. Let me see the exact high that we have on Tesla over the week. It's all-time highs. I have 480. So we're a little bit away from here. Here it is on the chart. 488. 488.50. Tesla. So we'll see. I don't know. It seems like we didn't really get there, but it might have been like one little wick there back. Actually, a year ago, almost today. So this is the high is the 18th of December. So we had gone through all of this all year, only to make it, we're not there yet, but in a couple of days we could be. That's the 12th month, 18th day. So right there, we're almost there back on Tesla. So apparently some RoboTaxis, Model Ys being driven around there. So we'll see if that helps spark it up. And then, Ubers are the downside. But yeah, pretty good. What was it, a busy week? I saw my parents yesterday. We went out for breakfast, so that was really nice. We had back-to-back early hockey games. That was good. Which was nice. But yeah, 89,600 for Bitcoin. We'll see what that
is the one that's strong today.
Ethereum. Yeah, I saw XRP in some of our notes there off the. What is ETHA doing?
It's ETH. Like ETH is actually up. Like ETHA is up 2%, but ETH itself is at like 31.4, while we're under 90,000 for Bitcoin. So it's like you're gapping higher over here on ETH. Okay, obviously Friday was a pretty nasty day for. Wasn't a good day for either. But IBIT to the downside. But XRP going to be maybe more in play. ETH going to be in play. I think the metals are back in play. Copper price is up. Silver back to the highs, back to the upside after a little bit of a. Well, what didn't have a rough day on Friday? Like you sound like a broken record. Gapping higher or trying to recover after a rough Friday seems like pretty much every stock out there. But yeah, it's weird. Bitcoin, not languishing is not the right word, but just a little relative weakness is. Maybe people are more interested in ETH this week. I think that puts BMNR will probably be in play a little bit more. Usually you'd think that, but look at that. Like they're near the lows. So if it's one of those things where if I were to see like ETH start to push higher and maybe break back out, doesn't look like it's happening right now. Maybe you get some catch-up trade with BMNR, but the treasury plays don't always work the way you want them to. No problem.
Yeah, Friday was really a bloodbath more just for the Nasdaq. I think the Dow wound up actually on Friday, and there was a lot of strength in many spaces, but not in many spaces, but in a few stocks, but a few spaces. On one of them is the financials. JP Morgan there again taking out all-time highs today. It looks like. For JP Morgan. Citigroup might open up near all-time highs as well. So some of these bank stocks starting to kick as well. 322.25 is the all-time high for JP Morgan, and that's coming into 320.50 right now. They were left basically, not left for dead, but they had a couple monster moves recently back into 3 bills and now up to 320 again. So yeah, some strength definitely hitting this market. We haven't even talked about NVDA or anything like that. They're up at 1%. We had Broadcom on a bad day on Friday, of course, AVGO down 11%. This is part of what we were talking about there as this tech sector got beat up. Broadcom, Oracle as well leading the way on the data center worry. So there's lots to, hey, what's up, Randy? Lots to worry about today. Oh, and we had Rivian dancing around last week as well. They made it close, up to $19 again, and then back down. But look at Rivian's on the daily chart, man, Randy. It's starting to get going here again as they announce LiDAR sensors. They talk about their FSD model. I forget what it's called, Autonomy One or something. That's starting to kick again. And look at this, Randy. We're almost, this goes all the way back to July of 24.
I know.
So it's been a while, but it's nice to see it's finally back upside right now. And all of these lows, Randy, you're getting a little less deep. So you're starting to not fall down as much. Exactly, higher lows. Thank you, Randy. But yeah, lots of snow, lots of snow. I just talked to my wife. It was snowing right now at our house.
Already?
It's not snowing here in downtown. Oh, it is now downtown? Okay, so there you go. So I live like 25 minutes west of here. It was snowing when I got here, but now it's snowing here.
Tis the season.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's more just like it's -8, 9. It's cold overnight. Woke up on Saturday morning or something. It was -19.
Yeah, that was not fun at all.
That was a little.
I was gonna go for a run, and I'm like, nah, I think we'll be working out indoors today.
Yeah,
like,
probably
I'm not,
a good idea.
Like I love going
ice,
for a
ice,
run,
baby.
But no, that's too much.
Oh my God.
Oh snap.
Bring this huge smorgasbord every time.
Okay, thanks, Randy.
Wow, these guys aren't messing around. Ever since we complained about the peanut butter and jam and all that kind of stuff, now it's just protein and eggs and brief away for the morning. But he'll be here.
You're happy with the breakfast, right, Brendan? Look at this.
I don't think Brendan doesn't eat too much. Do you get some of the breakfast or not really, Brendo? I don't see it too much at all.
Crazy. I go to the gym in the morning, so I typically do like a shake when I'm done, and then that's it. But I mean, just that smell is just—it's
like
come
ridiculous. We got a second plate.
Yeah, we'll get another plate and divide that up there. Randy is doing this. So like, me and Neil aren't dating or anything here. We're not sharing plates over here, Randy.
Ooh, let's eat
as we go. But blessed day, says Adam James. He's 95 in blue skies.
Yeah, that'll work.
Where are you at? Where are you at?
Yeah, you're supposed to tell us where you're at, Adam.
Maybe you're in Austin. I don't know. What's 95 these days? Hawaii?
Not
Do we have
a lot
any?
of 95.
Brendan, we ever get any viewers from Hawaii? You ever see any viewers from Hawaii?
Do a meet up there.
top of my head. It's typically East and West Coast, New York, Florida, and then California. But
Oh, Paraguay.
I haven't heard.
Yeah. All right, well, we got, what's up, Adam? Yeah, we should have, I don't know why I immediately thought about United States, but yeah, there it is, Paraguay.
Okay.
Paraguay in United States bracket, I believe, for the World Cup. That should be a good. Portugal, it's 2 a.m. in Hawaii.
Well, that would explain why we don't get any viewers from Hawaii.
Well, not really. I mean, we had Nimit was in Singapore. The guy was watching us 24/7. Adam over there in England, London. Yeah.
That's a little more challenging.
Pakistan, there we go. California.
This guy says it feels like 8 degrees in Montana.
I'm tuning in from Mars
that's
myself
more like,
over here.
That's how we roll.
Much love from Colorado. Yo, what's up, Colorado? Where's Colorado at?
Ooh.
Oh, I don't have my stream deck going. Oh, man. We had Weed Batman there coming
After
up.
the Broncos handle business.
Oh, last night? Yeah, Broncos.
What?
There you go. He must have heard what we were saying there. Yeah, so there it is, man. Weed Batman. Colorado. Chicago's cold. You know, it's really cold in the whole East Coast and everything, as well as then obviously the Northwest there, Chicago, kicking as well. Yeah, look, 89.6 right here. I don't know. So the only thing I wrote down so far really was Palantir. Like, I really like that new contract talk, and there's the move down. Here's the move back up. Let's see if Palantir can hold. I actually wrote down 180. Yeah, we're going to divide that all up. We actually wrote down 180 for Palantir. iRobot's interesting, honestly. Like, now that it's back above $1, we've seen many. Oh, wow, it was just $1.35. Now it's $1.15. We've seen many of these names, man, come and go. But I think it's going to be interesting. You know, if they sell enough of these iRobots, this is the thing. Would you rather have them go bankrupt, or would you not rather have now Amazon come in and make a bid? You know, I mean, Lena Khan's gone now. I just feel that, you know, for all the employees there, I don't know if Amazon would still even be interested. I don't know if they pivoted away and maybe taken over another company or starting to develop it themselves. But, you know, it's one thing to take this company over at $20, $30. It's another thing to take them over at $2. So I would say watch out for iRobot. I feel like there could be some plays there because a former name that's, you know, was an interested buyout candidate and actually had something done. So if you're an iRobot shareholder, today can't be really nice, man, because just that fall from grace for IRBT. And obviously it got going there on the robotics talk. But yeah, today looks like they're going to file, or they did, and now it's going to the downside. So you've got to be careful for iRobot there. And I think it'll be interesting to see what happens at $1 and then glued to the ground for a possible buyout, I would think anyways, or at least possibility there for iRobot. They have enough of these things kicking around. Wouldn't be surprised if that happens, but I don't know.
Surprising that it gets to this point.
Might not have to buy them out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it gets to this point and no one even thought to. Like, you think you'd have a little something there. I'm just trying to check the news on this MNTS, Momentous, because they're down significantly as well. Oh, yeah. See, it's never a good thing. They're announcing a reverse split here for MNTS, which will be effective on the 17th. So that should be Wednesday, which probably means the 16th is the last day this will be a penny. Well, I shouldn't say the last day it'll be a penny stock, because oftentimes these reverse split and then sometimes come back. But it's a weird one. A 1 for 17.85 reverse split. Why don't you just do a 1 for 20? I don't like it's. That
Get them an option, yeah, because the price is going to change, right?
Yeah, like what's the point of doing 17.85? 1 for 17.85 for MNTS. That's the news here, and the reason why it's going to be down. But yeah, I suppose to each down. That's a bit of a weird one, to be honest with you. I haven't really seen that before. No, I think like iRobot's 100% going to be in play. Can't forget about Tesla. But from Friday, remember we got that Oracle news. Right? Like in the middle of the day, you get this, and they're refuting that they're going to have to delay any of their build-outs, but delaying by a year some of their OpenAI build-outs. And look, the stock and the market took another leg lower, but Oracle recovered more than the move from when the news came out, but we're gap back down lower. So the market's still punishing some of these AI names, Oracle in particular. We saw Broadcom, as you already mentioned there, Sean. And Oracle, not looking very good. This chart is still about as ugly as it was on Friday, despite that little half V-shaped recovery. And I saw someone in the chat that says the bacon isn't crisp enough. I actually like it. I
think they're right. I know you like it a little less crisp.
Right. Like,
thing is, I had one of these sausages. They're also cold.
Yeah, I like it. I like it this way. The sausages are cold. Well, I mean, it's been sitting. Yeah, it is cold.
Right here on my chat, I asked about what are you guys trading today? We have long Tesla, says Chris Blackman, short Uber. Let's win big today as always with Tesla, and this is a pretty good thing here from 5. It must be an AI thing here. Morning, homie. Remember, even the sun takes breaks behind the clouds. That's nice. Time to break your empire. Time to build your empire or break it. Right there. So yeah, thanks for all the shout outs there. Join me and let me know what you guys are trading as well. I'll put that in the chat right now. But yeah, watching out for iRobot, and here we go. Brendan, you don't have a Roomba, do you?
I do not now, however.
Okay.
But that's, I mean, that was a massively popular product at one point, just absolutely massively popular. And I have 2 different neighbors I know that have them currently. So it's kind of out of nowhere, guys, no?
Do we have the Roomba or we have the other thing? What is the other one called? I'm going to ask her. But I think, to your point,
it did come out of nowhere. I don't recall hearing anybody say anything about bankruptcy last week.
Well, I mean, the stock wasn't lying. I mean, this looked like, yes, we do. Okay, good. So there we have one. So I see it. I just didn't know if it was a Roomba per se. But yeah, I mean, it was before all that robot talk. I mean, we were down here to $1.30 anyways. So I don't know. That doesn't mean necessarily they were going bankrupt. But yeah, it has not been a good ride for them. And I guess this is sort of where we were, $38, $40. Like this only goes back to 23 here in December of 23. This is January. We were $37, $38. I don't know exactly when that whole buyout rumor started, but this was 100. Look at this, $96. This is. There's no splits involved here. I'm just sort of zooming back with all of this. So this might have been maybe part of the rumors. I don't know, 2021. I guess that could have been COVID. Everybody at home. The Roomba's going crazy, I guess. Then there's the fall back into $32, and then we start to bounce a little bit, and we'll zoom back over here, and then down to $1 before that sort of craziness happened that we've seen. With this whole robotic push now, and now obviously all the way back underneath again. So
that's crazy.
$180 3 years ago.
It was in 2022.
Oh boy.
When Amazon.
Oh yeah. Okay. So there you go. Yeah.
Like it's a full 3 years ago that they wanted to buy. And this chart's not even going back that far. If I put it to a weekly. Kind of weird on P8. You just go to 7 days to make it a weekly, but whatever. You could have just had a weekly call. If you go back, it's somewhere in here. There it is. Yeah, it would. I'm going to make the assumption it's this spike right here in 2022 because you can see it very distinctly. $61 is what they were going to pay.
Oh, okay.
Like this is one of those. So yeah, that worked out really poorly for iRobot shareholders, blocking that potential deal. You could have had $61 in August of 2022. I mean, it probably would have taken some time to close. and that worked out horribly. But hey, I mean, what can you do? Like, ultimately, this is what the regulators are there for, not necessarily to make it better for you shareholders out there. Like, that's not their concern. Their concern is like antitrust and monopolies, and I guess Amazon would have been too powerful if they bought these guys, right?
Yeah, they would have taken.
Oh my goodness!
You don't want Amazon taking over the home cleaning business, you know, right there. But
Doesn't even
yeah, so Tesla again.
your concerns.
Yeah, Tesla's rocking again, still up that 1.5. So, you know, from negative story over to some positive stories right now. Canadian CPI numbers are out, but that doesn't really matter. Yeah, and then Broadcom. So I don't know. These are the names that we're looking at. It's been a pretty good weekend. Brendan, what were you up to this? Oh, we'll go to Joe first, and we'll talk about to Brendan what his weekend was like. All right, Joe, what was your weekend like? Joe over there. I know you've got some important things coming up, but how was the weekend?
It was great, man. Nice, relaxing. Played with a dog, played some catch outside, hit the gym a couple of times. Other than that, it wasn't too bad, man. It wasn't too bad. We're not going to complain. All right, guys, let's get right into this. We're going to take a look at some of the options activity from Friday. Yes, that's correct, Friday. So Rivian at the top of the list here, guys. I mean, putting in a nice session, as we just mentioned. I know Sean and Neil were talking about this not too long ago, but at that $20 strike price, guys, we have the open interest sitting around 30,800 contracts. That is going to be expiring this Friday with substantial volume. As Neil was mentioning as well, too, we were talking about the 19th expiration cycle for quite some time. Yes, that is going to be triple witching. Volume around 50,400 at that $20 level, guys. Now, as for Netflix, a couple tough sessions last week. At that $95 strike price, we're sitting around 14,500 contracts with volume around 6,800. And then silver also putting in substantial options volume, guys. A selling session, but then somewhat of a rebound in the latter half of the Friday session. Open interest 27,000 with volume around 16,500. At that $60 strike price, I have my eyes on silver this morning as it's rebounded and pretty much recovered the majority of Friday's losses. I think that's important to note. And then as for the call of the day, guys, I'm going to actually pull this up here because I want to get a better look at this chart here, the options contract that is. I think it's really important to know. This is what we're going to see. We'll go over all the data here, but this is essentially a gamma squeeze, and I thought it was really cool bringing it up because we can see it in actual live price action here. Well, not live, but you understand what I'm saying. So, all right, guys, MSOS open interest around 37,600, volume around 29,900. Once again, $5 strike price. But you can see for a cheap name, you're having a lofty spread there, guys. Pretty wide delta. Expensive because it is an ITM contract. Gamma exposure, relatively cool. Gamma always going to be greatest at the money, so this is slightly in the money. But look at the at the money implied volatility, 222.6%. That is a lot, guys. So you're going to be paying a substantial premium. But this is what a gamma squeeze looks like, essentially. Sorry, the chart's black. So for some reason, it modified a lot of things. But you have a contract that at one point is worth $1.99 and goes down to worth $2. Not much whatsoever. And then sure enough, on Friday's session, you have this massive squeeze. So if you're looking at options contracts and want to see what a gamma squeeze essentially looks like, there's a prime example right here in MSOS. We'll be back momentarily with some upgrades and downgrades.
Yeah, we talked about, I mean, Rivian was on that board as well there. You know, some talking about there with Carvana and whatnot. I like the Rivian story, man. I think it is, you know, anything that when you get a car company that's talking less about, you know, the making of cars and more about like what's going to be included and new hype sort of features and trying to get part of that whole FSD and robotic thing. I mean, I think Rivian continues to work out there. And now that it's at or near its highs, I really like the look there on Rivian. And then, yeah, Netflix. I mean, it's hovering around this, like the bottom's been 93, the top's been like this 96, 97 area. So we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening today with Netflix. I don't know if there's enough in it for me, but I like this kind of 97, 30-ish break. Like if you can sort of say, okay, well, that was with all the news and all the sort of controversy that came with the Paramount extra bid there. And I know it's a little quiet right now on that, but this 97 break longer, I like that. So 97.30, I think, a break long there on Netflix as well. I think that can work its way back to the upside as WBD still hovering, WBD hovering around $30. So there you go. We'll have to wait to see if this wants to kick too much higher than that. So this is that perfect example again. I don't think Warner Brothers is going to get iRobotted or anything. But like to Neil's point, if you're in a share of iRobot and it gets offered for $61, and you think it's a decent buyout price, maybe you just take the cash. Like right here on Warner Brothers. If you're long this stock and you're a little bit uncertain of this deal, if it gets done or whatever. Now, I don't think Warner Brothers goes down. There's multiple bidders here. This is not a one-trick pony or anything. But, you know, if the top is going to be 30, well, you're at 30 right now. So maybe you don't want to hold on to your shares, risking potentially either a worse deal coming through or Paramount pulls or something. And then this thing goes back down to $27, $28. So just make sure that you understand sort of the risk associated with all this. And here's Warner Brothers right at its peak right now. And we just talked about iRobot. So I think it's kind of one of the same. But there's Warner Brothers right now up to $30.
Yeah, and it's doing great for everybody that's holding on to it. What was interesting is, you know, obviously Joe talked about MSOS there and some of the cannabis names. You might be getting better percentage moves out of a couple of other ones. Like I was just watching Tilray. But worth having a look at what happened on Friday during the midday. That was program buying off of 510 on MSOS. So I think if you just, like I'm going to think about VWAP here pretty simply. If I start to see this bouncing off VWAP like it did a couple of times, maybe just join it that way because very, very distinct. And you can always, to me, like when you see this kind of a very controlled 45-degree angle chart for such a long period of time, it generally indicates some control buying. If I see something like that again, you want to be a joiner there on MSOS or any of the cannabis names, really. Let's head back up to the desk. I think we have an update.
A couple minutes to go here until 8:30. We are going to get a couple of data points at 8:30, but I wanted to run through everything that's coming up here over the next couple of days because, like I said, it's just a long, long, long list. First off, however, just seeing Google's testing a mobile real estate ad unit that could connect directly to live MLS listings through partner Come Home. That could include full details, filters, and request a tour button that would route buyers directly to agents. So that's kind of cool. Google, again, testing connection with MLS and real estate listings that would send, I guess, listings in your area or your preferences directly to you. Let's have a look at this, though, real quick. Sean mentioned we get Canadian inflation data this morning coming up at 8:30, 2.9 expected, or 2.9 was the prior. 2.9 also expected. That's going to be coming out here in 2 minutes. And then a couple of Fed speakers to be aware of today. Mirren at 9:30, and then Fed's Williams coming up at 10:30. That's about it for today. But that's when we really get into it, because coming up tomorrow, ADP and weekly employment change, that's a weekly number. But then we get October and November non-farm payrolls data tomorrow at 8:30. We get October retail sales data at 8:30, and then down here, you're going to see we get also November non-farm payrolls data as well down here, along with manufacturing payrolls, government payrolls, average weekly wages coming up tomorrow at 8:30. So long, long list of data coming tomorrow at 8:30, and then Thursday we'll get CPI as well. So 3 different CPI prints to come. If you fast forward to Thursday, more Fed speak on Wednesday, and then let me just go down here real quick. So November, there it is, core inflation for November coming up on Thursday morning at 8:30. Stick around for that, because that's the first real inflation data point that we've had in quite some time that could be relevant to the overall market, and a whole bunch of Fed speakers to go along with that to commentate on what is going to come. I'll bring you this Canadian number, guys. As you mentioned, not a huge deal for the overall market, but we always like to know what inflation's doing around here. We have Michael Nos coming up as well. He's thinking breakouts. So we'll set up that here.
Christmas spirit I see in the back, so we'll can't wait to see and get him on as well. Yeah, look, I was wondering about like, is this next, and maybe, I don't know, well, Michael's always talking about different things, of course, different topics, but yeah, maybe it's going to be the 493, and I talked about that heading into, well, at the end of last week. I said that I didn't expect tech to perform. The Nasdaq's been up 20+% each of the last 3 years. So I just don't know if right now, we talked about different XLF, IWM, some of these other indexes, and of course XLF's an ETF for the banks, but you know, some of these other areas are starting to work, right? And we've mentioned the Caterpillars of the world, the industrial is starting to work out as well. Some of the transports like FedEx is starting to work, you know, get back to the upside here. We went through financials, maybe Berkshire could be something with a lot of their cash and where their holdings are diversified, not all into tech. There's FedEx, like look what FedEx has been doing here. Kind of just under the radar a little bit, I think, for many people not looking over here, and it's looking to take out some levels. FedEx trying to get over that $300 mark. So, you know, nice little run in some of these spots. You've seen MasterCard, Visa, some of those names starting to go upside there as well. I just heard Canada, I didn't see, no, Empire State Manufacturing numbers came out as well. Brendan has the numbers. Let's go over.
2 versus 2.2 on the Canadian CPI there.
Banks have been strong as well, but I just think there's going to be a little bit of a switch away from some of the tech names, and but I still think we go on and on here into the end of the year, and we'll see if the Nasdaq can get back to all-time highs.
Well, travel's trying to go right now. If you look at a buddy of mine's on a cruise this week, and I know lots of people have been. It's been since COVID. Everyone's spending, or lots of people are spending more on experiences as opposed to things. So that means concerts and travel. If you look specifically, though, like CCL, just as an example, last week you had a big ramp. I mean, NCLH moved as well, but you had a big ramp on Thursday, and then a consolidative day after that. So you're getting that 50 period. An obvious trend is sort of breaking here from the highs. This is a stock that's very much going to be in play, just from a technical standpoint, and whether it's them or, as I said, NCLH, like Norwegian's going to look not exactly the same, but somewhat similar. Big ramp up. I like CCL better because you can obviously. Oh, that's not even my chart. That's FDX. Was that always? Okay, now I don't even know if you guys were seeing CCL as I was talking about it. You might not have been. So NCLH, which I don't like as much as CCL. See what's going on here. A little bit of a pullback that's not holding. Just not as strong of a chart, but CCL, Carnival, clean break of trend, clear consolidation over the 50-period moving average. You got a nice bull flag on the 15-minute chart as well. So this should be in play this week. It's not a breakout of the highs, per se, but it's still a bit of a breakout that is going to be in play with some relative strength in the space. So let's go talk to Michael and see what he likes breaking out.
Interesting note here, guys. Elon Musk and Tesla reportedly testing now full driverless Tesla robotaxis in Austin with no occupants in the car at all after an X video popped out on the weekend, apparently. So he said they were coming, and I guess we're starting to see the first evidence of that. As we said, let's bring in Michael Nos here, get a look at the overall market as we head into what is going to be the last full week, really, of trading here. Michael Nos, good to see you. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Feeling a little like we're just hanging out around the top here if you zoom out on the chart. I love the first chart that you brought here, and I wanted to just kind of zoom in on that a little bit because I think a lot of people, especially younger traders or people who are fresh to the market, they see this move down, and then they see where we are now, and they think, oh, well, crap, I missed it again. But you're going to talk a little bit about a way that if you're in that camp and feel like, you know, there was a pullback, great opportunity on the way back down to load up a little bit. Now we're right back to the highs. Some people may feel like, I missed it. How do we actually play that?
Yeah, and I love the chat that was going on with Neil and Sean there about other places in the market, because the reason I picked, and this is the S&P 500, the reason I picked this, and you can look at the IWM or the RSP, is that there are areas of the market that do feel a little overdone, especially if you zoom out for multiple years. Sean talked about the 20%, 3 years in a row of 20% for the Nasdaq. But if you're looking here at the S&P 500, then yeah, we haven't really quite broken out again yet. We haven't hit those all-time highs. And the IWM just broke out a couple weeks ago from its 2021 high. So there's an argument to be made that in some areas of the market, especially small caps and some of the lesser known large caps, industrials and financials and things like that, that we're just getting started. So if this AI thing is going to benefit the rest of the world, we may start to see that, and you may start to see these sectors continue to go. But for this kind of short-term chart, the reason I kind of drew this the way I did is because I think probably everybody in chat there and everyone watching has read enough of a technical analysis tech book to identify a bull flag. And they're not generally as clean as they are in the textbooks, because you grab the best example to put in. But I'm looking at this as a little bit of a bull flag. We closed on Friday kind of right where we were like 2.5 weeks ago. So we had this big push up off the lows. We hit the prior highs, and then we've done nothing since then, which to me is perfectly bullish and normal price action. You expect to have some churn into that overhead demand. But what I'm doing personally is I'm preparing for what if we get the next move. And the beauty, and I think the reason that everybody loves a gold bull flag, is because the rules come fairly simple here, right? We are in an uptrend. We are pausing in an uptrend. So if we are going to bet that the uptrend continues, then we simply want to buy things that are breaking out if they break out. And if we roll over here and we break 680 and we start to go down into the 650s again, then we don't even have to worry about placing a trade, because we're waiting for that breakout to occur. So the next chart I just have, again, is the equity curve for this particular strategy, which the reason I want to bring the equity curve is because I want to really hammer in that this strategy is wrong about 52% of the time. So the win rate on the symbols I'm going to give you here, if they trigger over this length of time, which is 25 years of backtested and thousands of trades, is only 48-ish%. So you will be wrong more often than you're right. That's why people, I think, get frustrated trading breakouts. However, you can see over time, managing risk correctly with this particular system, you end up making money. There's multiple year periods where you don't, and the equity curve just shops sideways. But the trading breakouts reminds me of an old saying that I used to love from one of my trading mentors, who's just always used to say, trading's about staying alive until you get lucky. And that's what doing these breakouts feel like, is that you're managing risk very, very tightly. You're getting, paper cut after paper cut. Every now and then you get a little bit of lucky and you get something that just kind of, you buy it and you go and it rips. And that's what makes this low win rate strategy profitable in the long run, is that every now and then you're just going to hit something that does great. So for this particular strategy, again, just the rule set, we're just looking to buy breakouts into new highs out of these flags. Very tight stop loss at the bottom of the flag. And then we are looking to hold for a week. So roughly 5 trading days is about the optimal trade time here. I like time stops, which is something we can go over, as opposed to profit targets or anything, because it gives you that opportunity to kind of get lucky. So first one is DDL, which is Ding Dong. It says Cayman, but I looked into it. This is actually one of those, it's a Chinese company, but it is actually in the Cayman Islands because that's the way it says. And you can see the little bull flag here up on the chart. So we have a nice push from about 150 to $3. So it pretty much doubled off its lows. And then 5 days or so are sideways action, which is what we're looking for in this strategy. So if it breaks 210, we're interested. We're wrong under $2, and then again about 1 week hold there. Next is DXGX. That's a hard one to say. This is a more kind of established company. This is a U.S. company. The gap up that you're seeing here when I drew in this flag was off of earnings. I personally like that because it means that there's some fundamental people out here that actually look at the earnings and read them and know these numbers who liked it. So it gapped up on earnings and kind of ran all day. And then we've been inside that candle. So above 94, we're interested in getting involved. Below 90, we are wrong or early, which is the same thing. So we got to get out. Last but not least is FET. And this is probably the most bull flag of the bunch. You didn't have to really squint to see this one, because ever since this little breakout that we had in December, we have just between about 34 and 36 have just been bopping back and forth the whole time, haven't really moved one way or another. So a nice clean break. above 36, we're interested, and then again, we're wrong under 34. And the idea here is that when we see the market set up in a certain way, and in which case right now it looks like a potential bull flag, we just want to find the right system and find the right strategy to trade that if we're right. And if the market rolls over here, Brendan was saying there's a bunch of Fed people talking, they could just completely tank us, and then probably none of these things will trigger, and we don't have a trade, and we just sit in cash.
How could you go wrong, Michael Nos, with something called ding dong? First of all, I mean, regardless of
still don't know what they do.
Regardless of the technicals, I think that's a great idea. The setup here. Let's get a little nitty gritty, because we always get questions after the fact when it comes to some of these ideas. Specifically, is it a close we want to see above a high? I think a lot of people, and just in general, I think a lot of people can make the mistake when it comes to these types of ideas of just getting way too detail oriented and saying, was it a 15-minute close or a 10-minute close or a daily close, or is it above 94 or just passing 94, or, and then, and you can just drive yourself crazy with the details overall.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons I really wanted to hammer on the low win rate, because I think one of the superpowers of backtesting, and especially backtesting 25 years, is I don't fool myself anymore to think that every trade I'm going to make makes money, because this, there's the original back test of this had 50,000 trades in it. Now it has like 20 or 30,000 trades in it. So I know that across that massive amount of data, I'll be wrong half the time. So, to answer the question, when you're running a back test and you're running a back test for that long a period of time, you're doing it all programmatically, you don't really have the ability to kind of really nitpick and fine tune entries. So assuming what we're doing is the same as the back test, is the second it breaks that price, we're getting involved, right? The back test, assuming you just have a stop loss or a stop limit out there, and you're just getting filled at that price as it goes through, and then taking the stop loss if it does. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with a little discretion. Like if you like a ding dong, but maybe you don't trust it too much and you want to watch it on a 30-minute chart or so to see if it holds, that's fine. But you got to imagine what you're trading is that by waiting, you're trading confirmation for potentially the best price, because it could just break and rip. And if you're okay with that, I think that's totally fine.
And I think it emphasizes the importance of understanding your time frame, understanding the type of trade, understanding the principle and the idea before you actually start hitting buttons on the keyboard or clicking a mouse. Is this, I know one of the questions we also get all the time is this something that can translate into a 5-minute time frame, a 3-minute time frame, 2-minute, et cetera?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think you could do it on weekly charts. You could do it on all kinds of charts. But the premise is pretty simple. You're looking for a strong move in one direction, the market to rest for a short period of time, and a breakout to continue. You see it all the time on really small cap and micro cap stocks. But, you're probably going to get the same issue when you're trading in the direction of the trend and you're trading a breakout that, everybody is looking at. You're going to get a lot of fake outs. And for me, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with knowing when I hit the button, there's a better than 50-50 chance I'll lose. Some people are not. So like you're talking about, understanding the setup, I think is perfect, and that you have to kind of sit there and do that. And maybe I'll bring some more intraday setups to see if I can find some that meet this criteria. But yeah, you're going to be wrong more often than you're right. But if you're okay with that and you're disciplined enough to manage risk, I think over the long run, you'll be fine.
And then last question, I swear, if we look at all of this, macro type stuff that's coming up this week with, 3 different CPI prints, we get a couple of different non-farm prints that are backlogged. How much weight do you put towards the overall narrative when looking at a strategy like this?
Less than 0. For me, every bit of news I learn about the market is against my will. It's important to understand, like, if there's a big Fed number coming, I think it's important to understand that it is coming. And maybe if you're worried about that volatility, the only thing you can really do is kind of lower risk. I have no idea what any of these, it seems like one Fed guy comes out and tanks the market, and then the other Fed guy comes out and rips the market. And it's impossible to predict which one. But I think knowing that these numbers or knowing these speakers are coming allow you to manage risk very well. So if you are someone who is very risk averse, you just know that there are people out there that could move the market one way or another in a scenario significant direction, and you lower your size, and then you can continue to trade. And then if you look and there's nothing in your way as opposed to economic numbers, then maybe it's you size up a little bit more, but you take the same setups, in my opinion, regardless.
Understand the rules and the time frame you're working on, bottom line, depending on the idea as always. Great stuff. Michael Nos, we'll see you again on Friday.
Thank you. See you Friday.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Neil, I remember your request, and we're going to do that right now. We're going to start with the downgrades, mixing things up a little bit, so we end it with a positive note. All right, guys. Yes, last week Sean requested Bitcoin. You requested we start with the downgrades first, so we're going to do that. All right, guys, at the top of the list, we have ARM. Yes, that's correct. Down 3.62%, guys, going from a neutral to a sell by Goldman Sachs, lowering that price target to $120. Now, as for Norwegian Cruise Lines, we're down 0.6% in the pre-market. Price target being lowered to $20. Also, the rating being at a hold as well, too, guys. So Texas Instruments going from a buy to a sell by Goldman Sachs, lowering that price target to $156. You're down almost 3% here in the morning. And Service Now going from sector weight to underweight, price target being lowered to $775 by KeyCorp. You're down 5 1/5. And as for some of the upgrades, guys, a lot of the hotel chains getting that upgrade, but we're going to start it off with Micron by Wedbush, getting that price target to 2.4%, or sorry, we're 2.4% positive in the pre-market, with a price target being raised to $300. Also a rating of Outperform, guys. Hershey's chocolate right here, Morgan Stanley price target $211, going from a mixed rating to an overweight. You're up 1 1/4 in the pre-market session. Now, as for Las Vegas Sands, guys, 3% positive in the pre-market, price target being raised to $80, and then we have Marriott as well too, going from a $288 price target to a $345 price target.
There we go. Ended on a positive note. So instead of looking at that ARM downgrade, well, the travel names we'd already talked about, but Micron 3% on basically just this upgrade. And looking pretty solid. SNDK is also up as well, if you're looking at some of the other memory names. But, Micron, maybe look, if 248 can hold, this is a 15-minute chart, right? It's been a pretty decent level here. If this can hold over the open, I think a bit of a gap fill is in play for this. So it's making some move to the upside, 3%, almost 3% up. I like this 248 hold off the open. Tesla apparently just just broke out the highs as well. Gonna go some dip buy hunting. But as far as the upgrades and downgrades, I'm gonna be more interested in that Micron. And all morning I was like, why is ARM down 3%? I didn't see a specific news story, but I guess ARM just down because of that downgrade. Start with the positive, go to the negative. This is one you got to wait for. It's about to lose. We'll see. I mean, it's above 125 still, but that's a pretty major support going all the way back to June. So you lose that, and anything in the 80 to 100 range is an auto buy for myself. But it's still got some support down here in ARM. Like Micron, much better though today.
Yeah, I want to go. We always obviously talk about tech names, and I just want to say like Las Vegas Sands, right? I mean, it's been on a run, that is for sure. LVS, you can look at Wynn as well, as many of these names continue to tick a little bit higher. So I just, we sort of looked at different sectors that were popping off. I talked a little bit about the financials. We went over and talked a bit about travel and whatnot. It looks like now that I see Wynn as opposed to LVS, it looks like LVS is the one right now that's working. So I wonder if there's going to be a catch-up trade here with Wynn Resorts. But wow, Las Vegas Sands there on China. I mean, they have a little bit more exposure with Macau, obviously there in China, than does Wynn. So here's LVS. I mean, they're both huge, but it's Las Vegas Sands right now that seems to be the better operator in getting higher right now. So we had Marriott on the upgrade and LVS. So, travel sector seems to be going quite well now. And I guess, Las Vegas is a funny thing. No one really wants to travel there in the summertime. It's just too warm. And right now it looks like it's prime time travel space. So we watch out to see if LVS continues to go higher. As I like the space. I wonder if this is getting a little heated. You know, I always look at stock and say, how far away from the 200 period moving average are you? And right now, that's $50. You're up to 67. We don't get that far away, and when we do, sometimes we correct back into the mean. So I still like the stock. I like the space, and I think this is an interesting spot to look at. Wondering about LVS versus Win. Something to be considered as well. Then CZR, Caesars Entertainment Group would be another name to look at. You look at MGM and all that in this space. And I have to do a little bit of work to find out which one's the winners and losers over here, because LVS going Oppo here to Caesars for sure. And then MGM, is that not a stock? Oops, my chart just screwed up there because I hit backspace. Yeah, MGM. I thought it was. Yeah, I was always wondering if these things get bought out, but there's MGM as well. Let's just have a quick little look and we'll throw it back over to Brendan. Again, this is just a Vegas. There should be an ETF called like LVSH, Las Vegas Holdings. That's too much similar to LVS, but hotels in Vegas or something like that.
It should be SLOT.
Slot. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
that should be the casino.
Yeah, that's a good one too. That could be. You could have DraftKings, all these kind of different gambling things in there as well. That'd be a good one too. Yeah, or BRKPT, bankrupt if you go to Vegas and you don't win. But anyways, there it goes, MGM. So yeah, I think LVS, if you're going to play any of them there, just based on relative strength in the spot. So I just put the sticky note out, just finalizing it before I send it out. I got iRobot on there. So this is going to be down at $1 soon. We'll see what happens there. We'll talk about this. Obviously, it will be on our watch list as well. That's out right now. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. You can easily go in there right here today. I'm going to show it to you in a second. Get our link in description. It's right here, man. This is the watch list. It has absolutely everything you need to know in here that you possibly could want to know. We have the expected numbers coming through, right? We have what's moving in the pre-market, what sort of earnings are expected, then just a bunch of stories. NVIDIA, Palantir, iRobot, ServiceNow, Tesla, Radio Pharma, Theranostics Limited. Obviously, you guys know all about that one. Crypto stocks. So,
it's moving.
You know, yeah, there's lots of stuff to go on here. It's completely free. Grab our watch list, link in description there. Sign up for it, delivered to your inbox every single day. And then, honestly, to become a member, it's $5 a month. We always get those coming through. We really appreciate that. And again, you'll get some morning notes there. Sharif not in today, and then you'll also get the emojis. But yeah, check it out right there. Hit the like and the subscribe. And then right now, how many people do we have watching? Let me just find out what our percentage is right now. Jerry's percentages. We have close to 4,000 watching. And this just tells you that 22% of you are not subscribed. So you always see Neil and I just looking at top left or top right, depending on where our chat is. We check this out all the time. So if you tag us at, I think Brendan's in here sometimes, at Brendan, there's at Joe, I'm at Sean, he's at Neil. We all have our TTV handles and all that kind of stuff. So go in there, check it out. And I think I just realized, no, I'm logged in as Sean. Okay, good. You know, hit us up and let us know. And the only way to be part of the chat is to be a subscriber. So get in there. It's completely free. Hit the little bell there on your YouTube page, whether or not you're on mobile or not. We need to get you part of subscribe. So, all right, let's go back over and see what Brendan's up to over there at the Lonely Desk.
I was just looking through these ETFs, guys. There is two. BET is one, BETZ, and then this one as well, BJK. But neither have really good volume at this point. So, but yeah, BETZ has DraftKings and those types of names in it as well. So we can have a look at those. A couple other things to consider here. I saw a note on Joby this morning. It wasn't really doing anything, but a positive note from a couple of analysts on Joby, the flying taxi company, basically saying they completed all of the testing that they wanted to do in 2025 successfully, completed all the license acquisitions they wanted to do in 2025 successfully. Next step, taking this thing to the actual market and getting rides actually happening. So Joby back to the upside. There's also Archer Aviation, of course, we can look at that. Berkshire, there's a couple people mentioning Berkshire, BRKB. Not really doing anything here this morning, but what we've known for quite some time, official now, that the transition will occur coming up here for the CEO side of things. Anyways, Greg Abel going to take over officially right at $500, guys. Nice couple of weeks here for Berkshire. back to the upside. Not a lot of volume behind that either. A couple other things moving around as well. There was Coke on a interesting story regarding a coffee brand that they have that they were trying to sell, haven't had success selling, and now they just might keep entirely. And Johnson & Johnson, there was more stories regarding the talc. They're still going through the courts with some of these talc cases and finding solutions for those. So Johnson & Johnson moving around here as well. But BRKB, one that everyone obviously knows of because of Warren Buffett, but right back to $500, absolutely key level here as we make this CEO transition. There was an interesting note I was reading, not last weekend, but the weekend before. I forget where it was. Bloomberg might have been. Talking a little bit about whether or not this company will transition into something a little more common when it comes to maybe a dividend, maybe talk about a split to get more retail involved, something that Warren Buffett has said absolutely not. If you can't afford to trade my stock, don't trade my stock, and look at options that way to increase exposure to this. But I don't know, what are you guys' thoughts here as we make this transition finally? Well known, obviously, but here it is.
I guess it makes some sense to see, to expect that you could see some actual real changes in Berkshire in terms of how they normally operate. It'd be weird for them to go the route of splits and dividends, but I guess that's, you know what? I don't complain is the wrong word, but oftentimes I'll say all the time, it's like, why would you not want to split? I mean, it's never a bad thing to have a few more eyeballs on there, more action. Berkshire's never been a company that's wanted necessarily all of that crazy retail action for whatever reasons, mostly because of Warren Buffett just didn't care for it. But it couldn't be a bad thing, I don't think, for some momentum. That being said, like the stock it's in a nice boring range. Oddly enough, like nice little channel up. You're not going to trade it. I think this is a place that, at least for now, you're still looking like you can go to it for a little security. Because the cash, you figure we get a pullback. The idea is that they'll have a bunch of cash that they can put in the right spots. But I don't have the same feels as I did about it before. I got to be real with you. And a lot of times that comes down to when you have such a singular presence at the head of any business, you want to give it some time to see how things shake out. See if you still feel the same way about it after the fact. I want to be able to give them benefit of the doubt. I still have some in my account, but I'm not really much of a buyer. But J&J, on the other hand, we just kind of brush past that story. Hello, J&J. I mean, this is on fire. This is breaking out. So, like, if you look, and we've been talking about this, healthcare. A lot of healthcare names have been doing pretty well. A lot of defensive names, sometimes in rotation, do pretty well. But J&J has been going. You can't necessarily call this a day trade stock either. It's done almost no volume. But in terms of a holder, this one looks pretty good. They still got their divvy for sure. So yeah, J&J looks a little more exciting to me right now than Berkshire, obviously.
Yeah, look, I started putting some money into Berkshire when Brendo and we all had that podcast maybe, I don't know, it feels like maybe it was 3 or 4 years ago now. I have to look up to see how long ago that was. But yeah, obviously the news of no more Warren Buffett there, one of the greatest, obviously, investors and stories of this market. And it's just, it still is like a nice little upside trend here, right? I mean, if you're going to look at, and say, well, we're not near that 540, I just think that's an opportunity to buy. There's no way the Buffett family and all that is going to leave this in unable, his name is Abel, but hands there. This is why I need a dare around here. To leave, this huge company, $1 trillion, right, in unabated hands. So I like the move higher. We talked about a rotation into different names, and I think Berkshire does. Marissa started messaging me, and I got sidetracked, so it's my bad. But I wanted to find out what percentage the holdings are. But we still knew that there's Bank of America, Coke, big names involved in there, and Apple's still their biggest stock. So you're getting exposure with all of these names as well. So I like Berkshire. I do think they should give a dividend, but they don't, so that's fine. Just keeps getting reinvested in the stock. And remember, like, capital gains are taxed at a different rate anyways than dividends, and maybe more favorable depending on what your tax situation is. So Berkshire does have advantages and disadvantages to it, and I just think do your own little study there. And I think what Brendan and Neil were talking about with the split, so be it, honestly. I mean, it's just a name. There are so many, and I actually agree with Warren or whoever was mentioning this kind of stuff, is that you don't need to trade everything under the sun. If it's not for you, buy it and hold it. There's probably, like, I think you can get Berkshire in Canada as well. BRK.BCC. I don't know. I think there is. We might not have it in here, but here it is. Berkshire Hathaway Canada. Yeah.
We have.
So this is it. So I was looking, it was the first one that showed up. Normally it's .cc, but you know, this is again, like an ETF that's been derived back down into Canadian dollars. So this is $36. So it looks like it's been divided by 20 or so Canadian dollar wise. And this is just another way to get exposure to it if you had Canadian funds, brk.to. So there are other ways of getting involved in Berkshire where you're not paying the huge fee there, the huge dollar per share. And then we also talk about too, like if you're at Wealthsimple or Robinhood or IBKR, and I don't want to speak too much about the different brokers, but you can also trade half shares or whatever, quarter shares of many different names. So I would say get involved on that side of things. And I think Berkshire is a buy down here, especially as we just had Michael Nos. I was talking about diversification as well, away from some of the tech names. So I don't think there's anything wrong with Berkshire. And then here we go, you know, the best keep getting better. Apparently NVIDIA right now. I just saw something show up on our little chat there. They're releasing some sort of a new, there it is, debuts new Nemotron family of open models. So I don't know exactly what this means, but here we go right here. Just more things happening. Well, it's not going to be a story that's, okay, it is maybe going to be a story that moves the stock a little bit right here, but 3 times output, I don't know what all this stuff means, but Nemotron right now taking over. I am Nemotron.
It sounds like a Decepticon.
Yeah, so anyways, right there, open models in nano, super, and ultra sizes. Here it goes, man, agentic AI applications. So there's the buzzwords kicking here for NVIDIA. So there it goes, man, bye-bye Nemotron. It is now the world of Nemotron. And we'll see what happens with that, but there you go, another move up there. But all right, Brendan, Nemotron. As soon as you thought you heard it all, you're hearing more right now, Nemotron. So it is, I don't know what Mike Peter Ryder's talking about there, like clockwork, but I think to the point of all these big companies, this is why I think it's important that you always do hold some kind of the biggest of all of the different sectors, because they keep on innovating, and although they're getting hit down like a name like Oracle, at some point the boat and the ship gets righted, and you just trying to stay in the best companies for as long as you can, and as long as it matches your sort of risk tolerance. I think NVIDIA is going to be a winner and bouncing off some of these lows. All right, let's go back. Yeah, Brendo, what do you think about all this?
In nano, super, and ultra sizes, whatever that means. So strap in. Whoever's creating these names is getting very, very creative, though. I mean, maybe not in, what was it? Meta, I guess it was, we were talking about last week with avocado. That was a bit of a fail, I think. But anyways, if you haven't done so yet, grab the watch list, absolutely free. Link is below in the description. Top link will get you to the sign up page, has everything on it you need to know every single morning before we come on at 8 o'clock. It's FREE free. Conveniently, NVIDIA, top of that list. We'll touch on what we need to know here this morning as far as NVIDIA is concerned. There's a number of analysts reiterating positive positions, increasing price targets today. As I was mentioning, I was reading that article going back to last week, suggesting that 2026 just going to mirror essentially the demand side of things as far as AI is concerned in 2025. Although we might see the next layer come into play instead of the actual build out, the infrastructure build out, we get the actual applications, what we're actually going to be using AI for. One of those, a lot of people I've heard really, really big on is the healthcare side of things, and possibly pharmaceuticals even. So NVIDIA back to the upside to start things off here, and debuting, if you're just joining, Nemotron. I love that name.
I mean, yeah, why not? Although I'm not crapping on the avocado name from Meta. I got no issues there. I love avocado. It's delicious. and they're fantastic. It looks like we might be breaking away here on NVIDIA. What's interesting is this is almost the same setup as Micron, and I just kind of like Micron on that upgrade because I don't know if NVIDIA had strong enough news. I'm like, yeah, I'll go with Micron because it's a little bit stronger on the daily chart. But that's the same. This is the same pattern. We have the morning and afternoon resistance. Well, it's not really. I call it the afternoon resistance because that's late morning right in here where we try to pop back this 178. So I think you play over under at that 178. You had some consolidation and a breakout on Thursday through 178. Like, see what happened when it was able to consolidate lower and then break out, and then on Friday consolidated the exact same level and couldn't break out. So you know this is a key price at 78. The only issue with NVIDIA is it's still lazily downward trending on the daily. So it's maybe not the one that I like for that long. I look over and I see like Micron doing a similar pattern, but a much better looking daily chart. So with one, I just want to see it hold over 248 for sure. Micron at the open, it's kind of struggling to do so now. But with NVIDIA, are we really past the overall trend just because we got like a little bit of spike on news? Not if I don't see buyers over the 178. So yeah, it's over VWAP. That's a good thing. Yeah, we've given some, or we've also pushed back from some of the sell-off or half of the sell-off from Friday. That's also a good thing. But if I don't see buyers over 178, and to me, it's a very muted win right now. Even though you're up 1.5% on NVIDIA, unless we start holding that over the open, I'm not going to be excited there.
Yeah, so I had Palantir, Tesla, iRobot. So we're going to go through our watch list right here today as well. I have not NVIDIA on there, but it doesn't matter. I'm still going to be talking about it. There's Palantir, Tesla, iRobot, and JP Morgan making the sticky note today. Go check that out on X right now. I can put the link in the description very soon. But I understand what Neil's saying there about the momentum and that sort of the trend is down, right? I mean, the fact that it's up 1.4% makes me think long today for sure. But I'm not sure about these current prices. Like whoopsies, unfixed. Down here in these bottom wicks into 170, I don't think we get to there today unless this market really wants to turn itself around. And I didn't really look at the TQs yet. It's kind of tough to look at the Nasdaq first thing on a Monday. I'm not sure where the momentum is going to be in the whole Nasdaq together overall. Our futures, by the way, I'm going to change this. Right now our connection to the Nasdaq is down to the CME. Sorry, yeah, thank God, not the Nasdaq. So, yeah, but this is what I was trying to get at was the Nasdaq right now is up 0.69 and starting to get going now again. Thank God it's not 0.67. But if that, he scared me there. He was, Randy. Hey, Randy, how's it going over there? Oh, yeah, you better believe it. He said cold, by the way. Yeah, so NASDAQ up 0.69, which is nice. Trying to fade back out just a little bit here. We'll talk about our futures situation in a minute, that it's down right now. But, yeah, NVIDIA pulling back. So I was just going to say, like, the NASDAQ's up 0.68, NVIDIA's up. So I think you got to play the good feels here. The only thing is like, when you sort of zoom out, that 175, like, we've had some pretty negative days coming into this. And I just don't know what sort of news story we're looking for. This Nemotron, I don't think that that's going to be anything really. It's a nice little pickup right now. We still worry about China and, you know, the risk of these tariffs and the 25% tax that apparently you can pay to now get into the country. It's kind of like a little $5 million visa to get or $5 million to get your Visa card now. I think if you can sell anything in China, I think this name eventually winds up working. It's just right now it's in its slowdown period, and this is really where I just last bought it. So I think there's a lot of bag holders if we break underneath 170, and then the panic starts to set in a little bit. So for me, NVIDIA is just a little too uncertain for me to hop into right now. Honestly, I'm not convinced of a direction. It would be AMD would be if I was looking short. Feeling like AMD is the right one because at least here we have this 220 where it seems like we're fading off of that. And now it's been a couple days in a row where you've had some downside action into there. And at the same time, you're stuck in a little bit of a channel between 220 and 200. So I think AMD can eventually win this whole thing. You have to don't forget about the software stack that's involved with NVIDIA. It's harder to sometimes switch over from one into the other. But with all that being said, all we're going to do is look at ranges. The momentum really is in Broadcom. And the thing is, this is a 300. Do we have Broadcom on there? No, we do not. Okay, good. So Broadcom's obviously a $400, was a $400 name, and just continues to have this trajectory here in the pre-market. So a little bit of a worry. They have a beat on the top and bottom line last week, but doesn't stop it from going lower. So I would think Broadcom right here, if there's some kind of a rally in the chip space, look to see if Broadcom gets back up into this area between 360 to 363. Like, we just dropped off at 360 right now, so that might not be the short area. But to start it at VWAP at 361 and then use 363 as your out, I think you'll be okay there. So I would rather short this space right now with Broadcom. And then the entire sector, SMH, I think was flattish today. No, up 1.21%, so there you go. So it's NVIDIA really carrying the day here. And didn't we see Intel? I always have to look over there to make sure it's not on the list as well. I know we're getting a little long in the tooth here.
They're possibly making a purchase.
Right, so I saw this morning that Intel was the strongest of all the chip names. So this is something that's interesting to me as well, with backed by U.S. government here. NVIDIA has a $5 billion stake in Intel, and now they're looking to deploy some of that money. I'm not sure who they're trying to buy or what that is all about, but with this new influx maybe of cash, looking to disperse it around a little bit, we could see Intel down here. This is a 1 minute chart, that's 38, where the 200 period moving averages. That's somewhat interesting to me. So yeah, we'll look at 38 on Intel if it does dip down right into there.
Well, it's a private company.
Oh.
It's a Samba Nova. They're like an AI chip startup, but they're a private company. And it's not that big. It looks like, and apparently they're close. $1.6 billion deal. It's not a huge price tag there for Intel. And anytime you're talking about acquisition and then the stock is moving up, that's generally the market telling you they like it. The stock that always has news, it seems like, maybe not every single day, but at least once a week, Palantir's got a contract.
Yeah, at least once a week for sure. Here's the daily look right now, back to 184.5, 185, kind of right at the top of this range. Once again, that's come into play for the past couple of months here, if you missed it. Renewing a 3-year renewal with the DGSI, which is France's intelligence agency. So again, this is an ongoing contract. They're just re-upping it for another few years. So ho-hum, another contract, guys. This move higher, though, continuing for Palantir.
I mean, I have it written down as my number one trade idea today. I was hoping for a move back in, and this is what I want to show everybody about Palantir. Like, this was what started off on Friday, then it finally kicked back over, made it like almost a complete V-shaped recovery, and then held at the close half decently considering the market went for a little bit of a move down. This is what Palantir did on Thursday, straight to the downside. This is what Palantir did. We had a nice move up on Wednesday, but then it fell right back into the lows before basing out. So every day around 10 o'clock, it seems like we have a little bit of a base. This took until 11. This kept on going. So you know what? At the end of the day, when you're looking at this as a chart right here, it still looks like it has nice upside trajectory, but inside of all of these days are very violent dips. Okay, and this dip right here, this is the 50-period moving average. That's at 179.50 right now. So that's where I'm looking long. I wrote down 180, just thinking that if we do dip down into those areas, the last few days, as I just mentioned, we've gotten pretty violent moves off the open. So I don't even think this would be that violent to get back into here, into 180, 181, maybe 182. Let's just wait to see what Palantir winds up doing. But hey, look, man, a deal with France. Unfortunately, we saw some unfortunate incidences over the weekend. There one in Australia, and not that that's had anything to do with national defense or anything like that, but it puts in mind sort of the fact that the governments maybe need to spend a little bit of money. Watch out for immigration. Palantir is huge in immigration as well as these defense contracts, and then just sign that one over there here with France as well. So a lot of people may not trade Palantir because of the war inferences that they do have and all that kind of stuff, but it's the foundry. They do have a lot of commercial businesses as well. So I just looked today, Palantir cruising with the futures. Would like to see it up a little bit more than where it is right now, but on any weakness today, let it base out, and I think Palantir can be an absolute monster today. And you got to play it off some level. So 180 is what I'm going to try. If it does come back in, good for it. It's not the stock I want to blow out the top. That name is too lower than where we are right now.
Well, the way I'm going to look for Palantir is there was a trade to VWAP on Friday that worked out, and it's when it does that same kind of thing Sean's talking about. Like if you get the trend down early on Palantir, just let it break the trend. And if it sets up, and it did set up a quite distinct trend line, and then this is where it broke the trend line, right about noon, and then look at the shot up to VWAP. So Palantir I like for some trend breaks, but I'll let it do its own thing off of the open and then make something distinct for a reversion trade on Palantir. Just seems like when it breaks a downtrend, you're good to go as a day trade.
There's
Thank
somebody,
you, Curtis.
yeah, I just put this up
Curtis
here.
Cribbs, Shkreli blew up his account, so I guess this is my new daily watching. Winking face. Oh, that's...
You should be, I just put this up here,
Hey,
Curtis,
guys.
because, you know, you should have been here from the first place, but we do appreciate you coming here now. And that's the thing, right? We talked about this Shkreli guy. Some people are just here for views. We've been here from day one, man. We've been here since 2020, and you know we have over 550,000 subscribers. We have over 10,000 viewers even right now. So we want to thank everybody for watching and keep this show going, man. It's sure sometimes we have some things to discuss here on the show, but this is completely free. Again, and right now 6,000 watching, 600 likes. So thank you so much for all of that. Keep hitting the like button as more and more viewers will trickle in. We do, at our peak between 10 to 12,000. So those of you that are watching us, thank you so much for coming through again. And remember, we are live now at 8 a.m. So you can get the sticky note as well. I'll put that up there. Neil has his notes out. This is a completely free watch list that we're going through every single day as well. Joey Options gives his plays earlier. We have the upgrades. We have the downgrades. We have Shreef's morning note when he's here. He'll be in later on. And just lots of things happening over here at Trader TV Live. So make sure that you just keep on going right there.
Keep on keeping on.
Yeah, keep on keeping on right there. Thank you, Aura Alpha. We love that head, Sean. Okay, well, thank you. I like my head is okay as well there right now. Wish it was a little more furry.
Joe had the fresh fade going on.
Oh, last week?
Yeah, no, today.
Oh, I know. He's got it.
But then he's
robbing a bank right now.
Inside.
Show Joe's bank robber look right here. There it is. What's up? What's going on, Joe? Right there. Where's the balaclava, my guy over there?
It is cold.
Right.
Here.
Oh, you know what? He looks like that guy from Home Alone. You know, the guy's wearing the hat there, burns the top, and he has like a big hole there. I cannot believe. I was watching Home Alone 2 yesterday. The thing is like, I know it's just funny to talk. Like we always say this, but like you can't survive any of those traps that this guy lays out for you. Like you're not getting hit in the head by a bowling ball.
Concussions.
Someone drops a bowling ball 20 feet on your head.
The brick.
Just any of those things.
He throws a brick to the head.
Oh yeah.
3 stories higher. You're dead.
Yeah. No, man.
That's it. It's over. Movie is done. It's over. But that's the fun thing about movies.
We're 40-year-old dudes.
Over.
I know I may look like 30, but we're 40-year-old dudes. The thing is, if I fall down normal stairs, I'm breaking something. Probably a hip. I don't know what I'm breaking. These guys are falling down ice-clad, like the stair. And boom, they're nailing their head against the door. Man.
Yeah, but you can't have the key. Yeah, I mean.
Anyway, shout out.
Obviously, it's a little bit absurd.
To Home Alone.
A little bit.
But yeah, that's true. Yeah, the bad guys were built different back then. Yeah, they could go through all of that. That house has been for sale, Brendan, a couple times there in Chicago. Yeah, they keep on showing it like now and then pictures I saw. Maybe it was just for sale recently, but that home a little too big for me. And then plus I'd be so scared to be home alone.
Okay, first of all, that was the biggest thing in the 80s. They probably still do it now in TV, but if in the 80s and 90s, straight up, we'll get to service now in a second. In the 80s and 90s, just look at the houses that people lived in these movies. Like, what did Kevin's family do for a living? First of all, like, look at that house. Are you crazy? Like, look at Parenthood with, like, what's his name, with Steve Martin?
Yeah.
Like, that house is ridiculous. And there's always, and they're all like, oh my goodness, we're strapped for money and stressed about this and that. Meanwhile, they live in a house that looks like it should be like a movie star up in that bad boy. But anyways, that's how they get you to want things. So you watch these things, it's like the same thing with like Friends, right? Like they're supposed to be struggling in their 20s, and they have some kick-ass apartment in New York. It doesn't even make any sense. Let's go talk about ServiceNow, which, well, it's not going well for them.
Yeah, day lows, in fact, right now coming into play. I mean, this is a huge $800+ stock, but still a couple things to note on this. Hey, there's a cool camera over there. ServiceNow shares trading lower after KeyBank downgrades to underweight. And then there's this as well. ServiceNow nearing a $7 billion deal for Armis, which is a cybersecurity company, according to Bloomberg. So those two things combined has this thing down big time here this morning, guys.
Yeah, watch out if this loses 800. I think you might, look, usually for this, if you're getting the bump down, because of a simple acquisition or something like that. I tend to think you want to give it a few days to settle down. The problem here for ServiceNow, it was already trending down in the first place. So maybe even see if it will break 800 in the next few days. Let it try to settle in the 7s somewhere. But it's that 3-day rule, down 5%. If it wasn't for the fact that like the volume is pretty bad on this, so it doesn't do a lot of volume, probably play it for, I mean, most people would probably trade it with options, but give it a couple of days to be able to react to this news. We said the same thing for Netflix whenever you have an acquisition or any kind of a deal. I'd feel the same way here. You don't want to pick it up on day one, even if it looks like support at $800. Let that settle for a couple of days here for ServiceNow. Not the strongest name in the sector either.
Yeah, I like ServiceNow, but yeah, I mean, you could find different names. Always watch out. We talked about the downdraft in Netflix. That's happening because they're looking to acquire and give up a little bit. For me, you know, we saw a good example of that with Palo Alto. Had a move down there on earnings right here where they announced that they were an acquirer, and then it took a couple days before it started to get going back up to the upside. Marvell has the same situation. That's not it there. Marvell has the same situation happening with it right now, but Marvell's tied up in the whole data center situation, but they bought Celestial AI, so that's another situation where they were up near $100, and we were able to get out of some up here at 100. It came up here way too many times for us to not get out. But yeah, they made an acquisition on their earnings as well, and they popped on earnings and then had faded back in over the last couple of days on something similar to what's happening there to PanW and ServiceNow. And there was a couple other recent buys, and you know, the biggest example, we don't have Netflix on there, but I think Netflix is another situation where you look to maybe buy the dip, especially if you do some work on the streaming space, right? These guys are winning in the streaming space. It doesn't look like that if you think about when they started talking about Warner Brothers. So I think Netflix is another one of those examples here where an acquiring company getting hit to the downside that probably doesn't need to be. These companies often know what they're doing. So I would say Frank Slootman and so on here with ServiceNow, they know what they're doing. So any sort of a move down here, I think you give it a couple days, and if you're able to get something near 800, which I believe you will, that's probably a buy there. But yeah, the stock is downside trending here anyways. It's only 10 minutes to go. Here we go, man. A name that I think we've all been waiting for to talk about. It's going to be a big one here. Tesla up 2%, moments away from all-time highs. I mean, if you're long the stock, what does it matter if you're at 470 or 488? I mean, it's a huge move. We're percentage points away now from an all-time high. Let's go hear the story from Brendo.
Dan Ives, forever bull, saying not only 2 trillion, but there's a case in which we see 3 trillion by the end of 2026, because why not? Here is the second one on the right-hand side of things. Tesla's board members raking in over $3 billion in stock awards despite 2021 pay freeze, according to a report that's just in the last 12 months. So Tesla's board doing quite well. But yeah, Danny Ives saying, not only 2 trillion, guys, we could see 3 trillion by the end of next year for Tesla.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's obviously been bullish for a very long time, and that's nice. But don't forget the RoboTaxi story out there in Austin. You see them, people saw them over the weekends out there, because that's automation's where everyone's starting to think now, automation and robotics, which we've always been saying. So look, it's a local breakout into the high. So like your high's in here at about 480. You've had a few wicks up there before, and you can get nitpicky about, you know, like where that resistance might be up at that top, 79, 78, 81, like whatever it might be. I think that's kind of your target area for the week. Dips all the way into prior high. Like when we sat down this morning and was sort of looking at levels, it was at 64. So I was thinking, okay, should respect it back into 56 or even this 59. But I got to look at this high here on the 15 at about 60, 61. So somewhere in there is where we're looking for the dip buy on Tesla. Like, let it settle down. You've already seen resistance at the 470 level. So if it holds VWAP, great. I don't mind a VWAP hold, but I find early on that doesn't really mean anything. It means more a little bit later. So I'm looking for pullbacks into prior highs here for a continuation play on Tesla. And it's worth, you know, keeping up here. That correlation that was almost dead on between Tesla and Rivian on Friday doesn't exist today. So if I were to see Tesla roll over, like Rivian's not going up when Tesla's going up. So if I were to see Tesla roll over and start to look weak, Rivian might not be a bad place to go over in sympathy, because it was actually arguably stronger on Friday, and today not so much.
All right, here we go, man. Let's just go bang right here, because it is going to be trade number 2, right at that level 460, right there. RoboTaxis. I think that's a great catalyst. It's what we're talking about. It's what we want to hear. We want to hear about these Model Ys rolling around there unmanned. That's what we're hearing. That's what we want to hear. So that's good, man. All-time highs 488. Do we see it this week? I say yes. So we'll wait to see on Friday where this name goes. You could even see 480 today. So you can see that off open, $12. That's a sneeze for Tesla. So we'll see what winds up happening there today. It looks like the momentum is right in this name. We know that this is like a cult stock, right? It's the original cult stock, pretty much. Tesla's minted more millionaires than anybody else. I mean, I could check that against NVIDIA. I don't know how I would. But 466. I wrote down 460. It's basically where we closed there on Friday. So just trying to think about if we do fade back into this. And this has been a mover, right? I mean, when stocks open up, it's 2 straight absolute down days in the name, followed by, kind of revenge trading to the long here for Tesla near the end of the day. So it's really matured up throughout the days, right? But it's gotten hit like it stole something a couple times here. On Friday, we did have, it looks like, I must be wrong on this one, a nice bump up there, and then the hit back down in, and that got to 463. So maybe that's an area right there that we can look at to dip by if it does come through again. But it's just, there's always violent plays, in this market. And right there, we do get now the imbalances. So anyways, I'm waiting, long story short, 460, therefore Tesla. I'm not bidding right now on that name, but we'll see. CGC, another win today, it looks like, for the cannabis space, as we wait for more decisions on classification and more people talking about that. We'll see that going upside. My play is TXN MU. Is that what it is? Yeah, TrueLeave. So I own this in Canada. It's been the multi-state operator that I've owned the whole way through. And thankfully, I mean, this is now my largest cannabis holding. It obviously never was in the first place. Those other stocks that have gotten killed, but this is another one, TrueLeave. And you see here you go, straight to the upside. So sell cannabis a lot of different than producing it. So this name continues to rock. I mean, this was $3 or $4. And this is what I mean. They're not like, oh my God, these things are unbelievable. They're just getting back to some of these levels again. But there it is, $3 basement there. We did have Jeff Mendel on last week a couple times, and talking about more names. Well, here's TXN over in the OTC market. So, but yeah, that's about it. I don't see. Oh, there's Tesla. So Tesla does get hit with a small sell. It looks like sells and buys kind of switching up right here. There's Uber. I mean, this is another story. Uber getting involved with Waymo and everything. I'm not sure what this all means for Uber. We got a downgrade or something last week where a guy was like, this is not great news. So Uber did make a move all the way back up to the 50 period. We'll wait to see if they can hold on to this $80 bottom here as well for Uber. So I think there's two big plays in all of this, Tesla and Uber. And then, of course, with Waymo, you have Google and you have Zook or whatever with Amazon. And there's so many different names to look at in this space. But for me, Tesla looks like it wants to go, man. Optimism, FSD, it's all about AI. It's all about that race. And then we have SpaceX coming through too pretty soon, hopefully, on the IPO front. So I don't know what that means for Tesla shareholders, but I wonder if Tesla...
More distraction, possibly?
I think Tesla... I think a lot of people that love Tesla are the same traders that would probably want to get into SpaceX. So I do wonder if there's going to be some sell-off maybe in Tesla shares as people raise capital to get involved with SpaceX. So that would be a talk for me there once that winds up happening. But all right, 2 minutes left, Brendan. We got crypto. Let's hit the story, and then we'll look at some stocks and get ready to open this market up.
Yeah, a little bit of move down right now, guys, for crypto. We're back to session lows for IBIT. A lot of analysts pointing to the simple fact that we've had a bit of a consolidation week or week and a half. Doesn't mean volatility has completely left the building after the move down from all-time highs. So tread carefully seemed to be the theme overall, but we are starting to leak here right now for BTC. Side story, Michael Saylor picking up another measly 10,000 Bitcoin, around 92,000 average price, putting his average price overall now towards the upper end of that 74,000 10,000 area, which if you zoom out a little bit on a weekly chart or daily, is just below that prior swing level or prior support level, major pivot anyways, for strategy guys picking up another 10,000 Bitcoin last week.
That's what they do. So a bit of a spike there and a small imbalance by NVIDIA to the buy side. But IBIT 51.5, want to look short. There was the same trade in the afternoon on Friday, kind of a triple resistance after the big dump in the morning, and then you go back on a Thursday with support, so support to resistance. You got relative weakness in Bitcoin right now. It's under the 90,000, and even when it breaks 90,000, it couldn't break too far away. It got about to like 91 and change. You got ETH strong, you got XRP relatively strong, but IBIT looks like a fade to me. So if we get to 51.5, that's where I want to play it. If not, I can look at the support, which is at 51. But if we get a push up, which we are getting right now in the market, I'm going to be waiting to fade here on Bitcoin. The only other name that we didn't talk about, another day, another gap up for silver. Might break, look, it might break another all-time high today. But before it does that, I'm looking back to 57. That was kind of the morning range resistance level, and on Thursday it was support. So yeah, that's back on my mind as well. As we got about 30 seconds to go, as I said, there was a small buy and balance on NVIDIA that just spiked a little bit, and Tesla, of course, needs nothing. Didn't need any imbalance to go to the upside. Actually, it was a small sell on Tesla, and then spiked up anyways.
Yeah, I'm looking at this Tesla trade as well right now. That high was just 470.51. We'll see if we can take that out very soon here, and then get ready if it does break back down below 470. Maybe we'll get out of that. Yeah,
that bell brought to you by Origenics, by the way.
Let's go.
Because then, as the market is now open. And to almost no fanfare on Teslas, it just goes to the downside almost immediately.
Yeah, downside down to 468, now 470. So here we go, man. It's starting to get going here as the traders are now back in. So we are now long right here on Tesla. Oops. In and what? We got in and out there. Okay, that sucks. We should have had that long, and I guess my trigger hit both sides. I had a stop order. I don't know what happened there, but we got long at 470.50. Damn it. Look where, oh shit, shoot. Look where this thing is going right now. That's a big winner for us, but oh man, that really sucks. I have no idea what we wound up doing there. We wound up taking $1 on it, but it should have been way higher, as there goes Tesla up through 474. We'll go 1 for 1 on that winner, but we did get out early and we did not mean to. So let's see if we get back in on a little bit of a dip down here for Tesla, but so far so good. We got long at 470. Out at almost 472, back into the long again. Here goes Tesla. I did say we didn't even get to talk about this. It was the last note. We talked about it early, but I wanted iRobot on a halt. So so it just did. So right there goes iRobot. Let's take advantage of Tesla as it just went up and down. So we're gonna have to wait for that. iRobot right now waiting to come through now.
But by the way, iRobot's halted up. Instantly halted up. The theoretical auction price is down significantly.
Holy
it's halted
shit.
at 132, but you got a 110 tap. This could open 15 to 20% lower here on iRobot, unfortunately.
We just had a huge elevation right now in Tesla. Missed the trade? No. We got it first. We had a keystroke error. We got out for $1.50, Neil. We got right back in. Now we're $4 in the money on Tesla. There's a reason why we write these things down on the note there. These are trade ideas, guys. And there goes Tesla right now, cruising to the upside. Now $3 in the money and going higher is Tesla, man. This is why we write these things down on the note, man. We write down Palantir. We write down Tesla long. We focus on one of them, and there goes Tesla right now. Now $5 in the money on this reload. Initially, we had it at 470, but there it goes right now. Huge move upside for Tesla. We still got half of our reload on. Let's get something out at 477.20. There it is. Now it's $6 in the money right there. So boom, nice huge move upside there for Tesla, man. We've got that trade and we've got it good, man. I hope it was understood that we were going to go long on Tesla there early. A banger to start the day.
Yeah, great look, and I'm glad you got it. I mean, Tesla came nowhere near any levels to the downside, but Micron is starting to break out. By the way, the tap on iRobot's now $1. It's going to open 30% lower at this moment. Remember, Chapter 11 is the story. They're going chapter 11 on iRobot, unfortunately. So Micron is breaking out. You are holding above like 248. So I'm going to jump into the long if we get a pullback into 48. iRobot was on my plan to be trading it off of the open. So it's supposed to be a 5-minute hold. It'll be open in about 2 minutes. It might be at exactly $1 when it opens up. So just be careful with that one. Because it's only $1, it is going to be able to halt rather quickly, like 10%. Is not a lot of movement on iRobot. So every 10 pennies, potentially, if it happens fast, this stock could easily halt. But about 2 minutes to go until we get to that one. Bitcoin, unfortunately, not really doing much of anything. I wanted to short a pop. The market's coming down. Bitcoin is very slowly trying to go higher. Oops, there we go. Oh, no, never mind. It actually went right to the downside. So breaking lower is Bitcoin. Let's see if we can't get some VWAP there. Yeah, but iRobot's going to be on my mind when that opens back up in about 1 minute or so. Don't know if we'll be able to get the fade. That halt was rather quick. I'm not even sure it should have halted, to be honest.
Oh yeah, maybe was it news pending? We haven't even. Really
no, well, actually, you're right. I didn't check. You should always check. I thought it moved maybe like 11 pennies. Where is my halt page? There it is. No, it's a limit up.
Okay.
You know, so it's a volatility halt. It was just I didn't think it was going to go into the halt that fast.
No, interesting games being played all over the damn place. But I'm not here to play no games. There it goes, man. Monster move there, upside for Tesla. So yeah, we'll just continue to sort of sing the praises here of this name. My best out is 478. We just take another little piece here. So, you know, the only thing that we are doing is getting lighter on the name. There's no doubt about that as we start to piece a little bit off. I mean, look what the Nasdaq's doing, right? The Nasdaq is getting crushed right now, actually, to the downside pretty aggressively as well. So Tesla making that move all the way back up. So Neil's logging into Micron. I'm just logging into Tesla right now. We can have a look maybe at Palantir and see what's going on there. Again, the #1 long, we could have had Palantir breaking through the pre-market as well. We did choose Tesla, and I'm happy with that choice for now, but just waiting to see if this market can battle back. So let's go over and check out Neil, but I'm just gonna wait on Tesla. I said 480 could happen today, so let's wait to see if 480 does, man. Right now we're long, $6 in the money here on Tesla.
Yeah, Micron broke it. It got to 50s. I was actually over open on iRobot. I'll get to iRobot in a quick little second. It got up to about 50s, but I was looking for a break of 50 to get out higher. Wasn't really looking for $1. I was trying to risk it a little bit more than that. But Micron's starting to head back into the downside. If we can close on a 15 above 248 or even just close another time above 248, we'll go back over to Micron. But iRobot is now open. Actually open at about $1.20 or so. Can't do much about the scaling here, guys. I'll just zoom in as much as I can. But underneath that volume-weighted average price. So I think if I'm looking for a fade, it's got to fail the volume-weighted average price. Otherwise, this could end up just being a clean breakout into the 160 level. 160 is the level that I like, and VWAP is the area that I want to play off of. That and that alone is iRobot doing tons of volume. Just watch out for it to halt, though. That's the only issue. It was open at 120. If on one candle it goes above 133, then you could easily go into another uphalt there. If it uphalts a second time, I think you want the long. First time, not so much.
All right. I was waiting at 479.50s, and the highest we got to was 479, basically flat, 479.10. So we're going to sit there at 479 now, see if we could take $7 right on this. And this is our part 2 of this trade as it just continues. There it is, continues to work. Now we'll wait for 79.50, see if we can get that. But there goes Tesla once and out. That was actually a mistake, but that's okay, because where we got out, we actually get right back in as well on a dip down and a buy up opportunity there for TSLA. It actually looks like iRobot is trying to halt. Oh, I just missed it. IRBT, I tried to get that bid right there on iRobot, halting now to the upside. This is the actual trade that I wanted. We put a bid out, but it was just literally, as soon as I put the bid out, it froze. So we do not have the long now in iRobot, but honestly, man, we've hit our 2 times our goal here on our first trade with Tesla, and we're waiting at 179.50. We were just like, oh, maybe it gets to 480 today, and I called 480 last week. Looks like I'm 1 day away. Here it comes right now. We just get out at 479.50. Here comes 480 right now, and a monster break for Tesla. Go hot, bye-bye. it didn't even look at that 480. I was going to say there's millions of shares there. It went right through it, got up to 480.44, and now it's ripping even higher right now. There goes Tesla. Could we have all-time highs incoming right now? It looks like we may have that opportunity today. 488 and change. There it goes. Congratulations. Thanks for believing in me as a trader and in this name, period. I know you guys probably have this one, but there goes Tesla right now to the upside and just really working those longs. So big time movement there on TSLA, and it's just straight upside fire right now. So again, we had Palantir long. We didn't have that one. We had iRobot. I see you're into that one. And then we had JP Morgan long, but that didn't, at 318. So we almost nailed that, man. That was down to 318.38. So good call there on JP Morgan. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, these are my early morning trade ideas. Tesla long, Palantir long, iRobot long. Watch out for the upside halt. Neil's got that, so that was good. I wasn't over there in time. And then JP Morgan long at 318. So that one does not, that was a great, that might be the best one. Well, the best one's Tesla, but this actually came into the level there, so we didn't have to do too much work except for read our sticky note. But Tesla fading a little bit. I'll take another route right here at 478. So right now, just so you guys know, we have about 15% left of this trade, and we're trying to do good holding on just for a little bit longer there, but there goes Tesla. And the market, though, right? Like
the market's actually heading to the downside. It's annoying because, like, as mentioned, as Sean mentioned earlier, every time I show you guys the market, I'm just going to have to pull up the cues for you because we don't have our connection to the CME right now for quotes. So look at, this is the cues heading lower and breaking low of the day as we continue to go down. iRobot, the thing about the halt band is like your chances of getting filled on it, like you have to be, like I was just on the level too, like I was watching this stock at the moment that it went to the halt band, so I just popped on the bid. But if you get there early, like in the first few seconds when it goes to the halt band, you have a better chance. So it's indicating a flat open. Last time was indicating opening down. Now it's indicating flat. I have a, you know what, I shouldn't put a limit order out yet. But I do have a stop under VWAP. So if it opens up and completely craters, I have a stop. Actually, it's not under VWAP. It's about 127. Because I want to make sure that I don't get caught in a down halt. So I'm going to have them relatively tight. IBIT, or Bitcoin, I should say, just got up to 50, or tested the 51 level. So trying to get that one underneath Friday's afternoon support levels. I want to be short. I was trying to add to it up there at 51, looking for the low of the day. Is Bitcoin, well, I mean, the market's headed down, as I said, and Bitcoin heading down with it, if you happen to be watching. NVIDIA just took a hard right turn to the downside. It's also breaking lows and really starting to flush in here on NVIDIA. 175 was Friday's bottom. Looks like we could get that right quick. So about 2 minutes to go until we get the iRobot open. Remember the story here, they filed for Chapter 11. On iRobot, and we've seen this story before where sometimes you get a dead cat bounce. Like once you filed for that, like it's like that's the last of the bad news until you get some kind of an update, right? Like you can get worse.
No, so right into here. Yeah, we're just kind of doing the same old thing here, and that is waiting for Tesla to get back up to 80s. If it does that, then we'll get a piece out as that's trying to come out, and just waiting for iRobot to open up. Still watching that Tesla going. We can have another look at Rivian real quick to see if there's anything going on over here. Right there with Rivian, of course, there's nothing going on the same way as Tesla, and there goes Tesla. Again, that's your $8. Here we go. Monster. Okay, so nothing else to say, but there goes that. CRML here, rare earth name, critical metals. I saw some sort of a story earlier with them about finding some kind of a different metal. I'll have to find out what that story is, as we don't have Adara here today. But all right, so we just touched out 480 and then fell back one more time on there. I'm going to take out one more piece at 40s here if we can get it. All right, Tesla's coming back in right now pretty decently, so I don't really know. I mean, it was just at 481.50 back down. So we'll take another piece out now and just wait. Meta's upside as well, up 1% today. Market is down, so pay attention to Meta, where they are right now, because they're starting to make a move to the upside there, so that's getting a little aggressive as well. And iRobot is now open, and it looks like it's going lower, now higher, now Robot trying to figure itself out. There goes iRobot right now, 139.
Yeah, it just printed 144.
Yep, there it goes.
It's starting to head to the upside. 160 was the level of resistance for myself, so I should have more out into 150, should be holding on to half into 150, and then if it gets to 160, I almost want to be all out of it here on iRobot. Should I had that story on critical metals and then iRobot opened up? It was drill results.
Yeah.
I almost said iRobot again. Critical metals had drill results. We'll get those to you in just a quick little second. I'm going to move my stop here because I just reminded myself that, hey, I want to not be caught in a halt. I'm going to now throw it to break-even stop. I was just able to get it at 3/4 here. That's the initial pop-up. 160, I think, is resistance, and it's already resisting 150. So the halt price is 36. If it loses that, I'll just jump out and go for the scalp trade that we were able to get there. Thank you so much, Randy, for the refill. Well, we always have to have coffee. It's part of the routine. Not everybody has to, but I mean, I need my morning cup of joe, that's for sure. So let's see if we can hold on to that halt price at 136. If it loses it, jump out and look for the next opportunity, which might be the volume weighted average price there on iRobot. And what is it? CRML. That's what I was getting to. Critical metals here. They announced their final 2024 drill results, which obviously they must not like very much, as that's down 6%. And heading even lower as we speak. So yeah, some movers and shakers here following the markets to the downside, although nice bounce by NVIDIA in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, for sure. And a good little bounce there in Tesla to the downside, which is why we've indicated a couple times there that we want to get out near that 480. So if this takes out 474, let's just get out of this one. And, you know, our stop was literally 470 break. So the fact that we got $8 when our break was $2, a good little 4-to-1 there. Not that I don't really necessarily play off those kind of ratios all the time. It's just a matter of works out. Okay, so there it is, man. Tesla right now, nice move there. We can have a quick look at Oracle. Oracle's dropped 15% the last 2 sessions. Here it goes again, now down another 3% today goes Oracle. Man, they are hitting Oracle and data center names. I'd expect Marvell to probably be downside as well. We can check out what Broadcom, we can check out what, well, up on the day, but still
up when
heading lower right now, $84. Up on the day, which is nice, but I was waiting for 86 break on that one. Okay, that's Google, that's Marvell, sorry. Broadcom off of, again, a pretty disastrous week for Broadcom, getting worse right now for them. So shareholders that dip bought into Broadcom won't be too happy with that performance right there. But, you know, down another 2%, I think it's probably stomachable right there. Then here we go, man, Netflix down as well. So most of these names that were getting hit last week, sort of the saga continues with many of them, and there it goes right now for Netflix all the way to the downside as well, down to 94 and change. And could be a buy, right? I mean, at some point right there. But the Nasdaq continues to get hit there to the downside. We still don't have our futures working, so I'm going to change this over to SPY to see what's going on the S&P 500 index. That is flat. Well, they're both actually. The SPY and the Nasdaq are the same right now. It's been strange to see that, but both up 0.25% right now. So we'll see if that continues to work out right now as they diverge generally. But today it looks like they're going the same spot. We can check out what IWM is doing, as we know.
Apple's getting hit.
Yeah, oh, Apple. Okay, that's probably why then. There's IWM downside there. So watch out now as some of these names coming back in, man. Tesla. So right now we have 5% left, so not overly worried about Tesla doing anything, but it is heading to the downside there, Tesla.
Yeah, we might be being led a little bit here by Apple, for at least from what I can tell. Apple down 1 1/3 already. That's heavy action to the downside on Apple. No story. We didn't really have these guys on the radar this morning, but if you go back to last week, okay, good, that's Thursday's low, 274 over here on Apple. We're heading very quickly to that support level. I'm not going to try and catch a falling knife. You know, there was no story that I was aware of for Apple. Not going to get into it blindly. I did jump out break even on iRobot, where I said I moved my stop to. Every time it makes a fresh high, I don't want to get caught in a halt, and it doesn't have to move much to halt. So, you know, I'm going to tighten things up on that stock, but it is still holding in the 140s. You're able to get up to 150 on that break to the upside. So Bitcoin, this is not iRobot, Bitcoin breaking 89,000 and just got to 88.9. So I'm looking at about 50, what is this level? 50 1/3 is my next, is the out that I want here on Bitcoin as we are heading lower on BTC. So not a lot of strength in here in the market. Tesla looks strong. NVIDIA is technically up, but it doesn't look very strong either. It's AMD in chipland that looks good, everybody. So thank you for putting this in the chat. Everyone that typed in that AMD is breaking out and looking pretty strong, but I want to remind you, when you are typing symbols in the chat, and we want to get up on that visualizer, see Tesla up here, iRobot, hey, that's what we're looking at, SPY, NVIDIA, Tilray, we didn't look at the weed stocks, $, and whatever ticker. So if I type in $CGC, then at some point you're going to see CGC drop down. There it is. There's mine. It's not as big, but CGC just showed up.
And for now, Ramin, there is some exciting news out of Canada for sophisticated traders on the stream. Of course, Beta Pro by Global X Canada is Canada's largest provider of levered, inverse, and inverse levered, that's a lot of leverage, ETFs, and has just launched 6 new triple, here it comes again, levered ETFs, offering 3 times bull and 3 times bear exposure to the TSX S&P 60. So get these guys a look over at Beta Pro. They are offering a special rebate, so go check these guys out, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until the end of the month. They are US-based focused strategies using currency hedging for potential more pure play performance. So if you're sophisticated and looking to get involved in the triple levered or levered game at all, go check them out right there, Global X by Beta Pro. We want to thank them for sponsoring our programming. So yeah, all right, so just waiting out. I'm gonna still wait to see if Tesla wants to go. I mean, this market is still doing what it's doing, and I'm here for it. So let's get a little higher right now on Tesla and see if we can start to kick just a little bit more in through those levels. Check out my good friend Palantir as well. What's up, Alex Karp and friends? You had something very, very similar happen to your stock to that of Palantir. It looks like you did have a little bit of a dip down right there into 185, but this almost looks pretty identical right there to Palantir's chart and Tesla's chart as you have that move higher and then the fade back in. We talk a lot about NVIDIA, but we did look at Intel and worried about them buying that private company there and seeing if that would accrue for anything. Looks like no right now. Intel just making a downside play. So we'll have to wait to see if there's anything going on there. Bitcoin, good call on that short. I know you're out of it, but that was a good one there as IBIT and Bitcoin right now, 86.8. So going a little bit lower there. And here goes IRBT. I don't know if you have to pay for shorts, but maybe this halts the other way. So we'll have to wait to see if this halts downside. So I wanted that first halt upside. We don't get it. Neil does.
They're cheap, but you
can get them. It works, the upside halt there. So that was a good one. We'll pat ourselves on the back there, and Neil had it, so that was good to watch that. But we'll wait to see what happens now with iRobot. But there it goes, man. My baby, and we say rockabye baby right now because this is what this has been, man. Tesla's been a great stock for me pretty much this whole year and pretty much forever. So we'll just continue to watch it. There it is, another out there at 480 as $8 coming in there. I don't know. Let's see. Can we get to all-time highs today? Yeah, we can at this point. And we had called this move. I bought Tesla down here a couple weeks ago. Well, whenever that AI news came, I bought ARKB, which is ARKB. This is the nope, it's ARKQ. Oh, I was confused that because Robotics. This is the ETF that I bought for Robotics. It's an ARC product, so maybe it's not that good. Have Rocket Lab. Their #1 holding is Tesla, so we got a little longer there, and we bought some more Tesla on that news as well. So we'll do a little bit of a market recap in just a couple minutes, but right now it's Netflix downside. Looks like the banks were starting to head upside. We did have that good look on JP Morgan again at 318. We didn't take that long, but it does come into play down there. And then what about Disney, right? As 111. I like the 110 area for Disney. Man, that critical metals, by the way, I like it's getting hit pretty good right now, down 9%. Watch out for this one to possibly go SSR right here. CRML, another name that sort of got really excited there on, and I know that there's, I think you're into MP. I know you're not heavy into it yet, but I like MP. I mean, I like.
Oh, this is more or less where I have it.
Yeah. So I like all of these plays. Just a matter of, I guess, waiting for this story to continue to develop, right? So MP is a good one. USAR is another one. And then LAC, sorry, Lithium of Canada, right here, another name, Lithium America. That's, we know the government and many traders are involved within this.
Dude, the market's gonna go red here.
I know, the market is gonna go red here right now. So that's why, very important. Like there's another out. I think you gotta, if you're long, just pay attention to, you know, what's happening in this market. You didn't even cover Apple, but I heard you say Apple.
No, there's no story. It's tanking. Someone in the chat was like, "Oh, it's when Lisa Jackson's leaving."
Who the hell is that?
No, that's it was an executive that was announced leaving last week. So that's not a news story. It is trying to bottom out, so you could be catching a bit of a bid here. A couple of things I just want to go over because one, silver was about to break the trend. So I'm looking at that downtrend, looking at VWAP. On Friday, it was a pretty decent trend break, but that was at about 1150. So I'm willing to be patient with this. If we continue to fall down, I'm not just going to jump in anywhere. The level I liked was 57. We're not there yet for any kind of a bounce. Obviously, Bitcoin just went right through that 50-30 target and heading even lower. So it gave you like a 1% move in here from the volume weighted average price down to 50-30 on IBIT. If we can bounce, I'll look to get back into it again. But everything seems to be heading into the downside. For everyone looking at iRobot, still doing a lot of volume. And I'll zoom it back in here so you can see. So I had the up halt, broke higher. I jumped out. It never broke 150. That was the best you were able to do there. It was essentially moved 10%, avoiding, I guess, the top of that halt band, and then coming back in. So hasn't gone to VWAP. Might be breaking this trend and heading back to the downside. I don't know if I want a long it. I paid for locates. I think that first dead cat bounce, it gave you the breakout of the halt price, and it never got to 160 to fade. So I'll be very patient looking for the next opportunity there. But it's silver that's on my mind for any kind of a trend break or bounce play. It's either break this trend or get to 557 on SLV. I know I keep saying silver. It's not spot silver. We're trading ETF here.
You see gold yet? Is that doing anything?
Well, I mean,
I'm in gold.
The thing is, I've liked silver almost regardless of what gold is doing because it's been the one that's breaking out on the daily. And as much as gold has the same chart right now, it hasn't been gold that's the better trade if you're looking in that space. It's generally been GDX, but look at GDX today. GDX today is the weakest of the bunch. And this
gold
was
is actually up.
Yeah, GDX is down after potentially failing this breakout here. 52-week breakout. I guess it would be an all-time high breakout on GDX. So there's some weakness in gold. I just like the trend in silver. Like silver up 2% here, so stronger than the other metals. And I'm just looking for that bit of a trend break. But if the market doesn't catch a bid soon, it might not matter for that long.
All right, here we go, guys. We almost have 10,000 viewers right now. Make sure you get in here, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Over 1,000 of you have hit the like button, but over 9,500 are watching. So let's get that going right now. We want to thank everybody for watching. And if you are a member or at least a subscriber, you get involved into our chat, which is where we're looking right now. Look, Matt says BTC, BTC. Rusty says BTC. The Jameson says, yo, what's up, pal? And says, look at pal over here. Yeah, Palladium. Yeah, good call on that one as well. All these metals starting to run. There goes Other Zinc. Let's go, 10K. Let's go. He says copper, man. CopX, a good name to look out there. You can look at Freeport McMoran, FCX as well. But here's CopX. This has been a good one. This is the copper the copper miner ETF right there. And you can see that's been also on one, similar to silver, breaking out just recently of its all-time highs, I believe, in there around $64. We had Rahim Alani on talking about copper and some of the other precious metals as well. Not that copper is that precious. The idea behind copper, of course, is that it takes millions and millions of miles of copper to run through these data centers.
Yep.
So if you are, that's another big reason why I like Marvell and their photonics. They are revolutionizing that whole copper game and they'll never put copper out of business, but they're trying to make some moves there there are limitations with copper speed and bandwidth there as well. So watch out. I always like Marvell, but I am talking at my own book, so we'll move off of that. Okay, let's see what Palantir is doing. On any dip down, we know there's some names we want to buy. We want to buy the best. And we know that Palantir had a huge run early this AM, but now we've faded all the way back. And I opened up the account this morning, and I'm thinking about getting out of some of these tech names. I like the fact that the tech names were bouncing early, and it was giving me some hope that maybe we can get out of some stuff near that high side, including a little bit out of Marvell, but they're going the other way. And Palantir would not necessarily fit that because we unfortunately got out some at 175 last week, but was hoping that if this one got into the 190s, back near 200, that could be something. Just hearing Bitcoin in my ear, yeah.
Bitcoin just broke 88,000. I didn't think it was going to go that low this fast.
Yeah. if
I thought
you,
89 was, I'm like, okay, we're going short to 89, and the 89 ends up not being support.
Nope.
If we lose 88 today, there's a gap under here. What is, okay, there we go. If we lose 88 today, there's a nice gap into 86, and it looks like maybe we're not done underneath this resistance level. Thank you everybody who was like, draw this trend line on your chart, Neil, and don't only look at support and resistance. That prior trend line from 2023 is holding all on Bitcoin, is holding its resistance. And we're gonna get a bit of a breakdown underneath 91, obviously, this week. So 88's the level that's trying to hold as we speak right now. Might be doing a good job of it, but on this bounce, it's silver I'm looking at, not Bitcoin, because I was thinking short on Bitcoin today. But we could be breaking this trend line here on silver any second. That's one name at least I want to have to the long side. And I see a couple people in the chat asking about BBAI. Not enough to get on our...
Hey-o!
Hey, you got the mood lighting.
Now the club is here, baby. Now we're clubbing.
Well,
now we're
why
clubbing.
is BBAI...
well, they're all, I mean, the whole market.
Yeah,
all
everything.
these
Look,
names
man,
are
the
probably-
market's down.
Our lights
as far
are
as I
down.
know, no story here with BBAI.
Oh, man, I liked it better.
Bit of a flat bottom break. As our lights are just going on and off here.
I mean, I liked it so much better in the
I'll be honest with you,
dark.
I actually do like it when the lights are down a little bit here. It's just easier on the eyes, to be honest with you. But BBI just kind of following along with the market to the downside. Watch out if it goes 10% down, because just eyeballing it here, that'd be right at this support level. If you see 10% on BBAI, that is almost exactly somewhere in about 575 or so. So 10% down, stock goes into SSR, which is like the uptick rule goes into effect. Sometimes it's a good bounce level.
Yeah.
575 on BBAI if it gets there. No story that I'm aware of, which, you know, if that's the case, it usually makes me like a SSR bounce a little bit better if it's not down there for a particular reason. Yeah, silver not really breaking that downward trend yet. Yet being the key word. I can wait for it and be patient. iRobot no longer looking like the long it was earlier, though.
Hey, Clean. What's up, Chicago? Appreciate that, man. Such a riot. Tell that to my kids, of course. Dad, what are you doing again? All right, clear that trigger. Yeah, look, man, we have a good time all the time around here, and it's tough. I always say, like, you're not going to wipe the smile off my face, and it's just like we're putting up the trades, and they're really, really working out for us. So it's been a really good one. We just got some numbers coming through there. 39 as expected. I have no idea what housing. Okay,
No, it's
whatever. Neil's gonna look it up what it was there, but it doesn't matter because right now the market is getting clapped right now like hard back in
NEHAB
National
housing
Homes.
index.
Okay, housing
Like,
index.
Yeah.
All right, well, I don't know. It came out as expected is all I know. And there it is, man. The market right now getting worse and worse and worse. The beatdown is on right now. And I mean, that's what we were talking about, greater fool theory right there. I mean, crypto, if there's no buyers, then you got to watch out. So you got to watch out. 89,000 to the downside right now, breaking through 88,000 goes Bitcoin. So again, something just to watch out for, as I know a lot of you are holding on to that one. We did get out of some Alibaba, as I see somebody in the chat talking a little bit about Alibaba there. Yeah, 151, good decision last week. Took out only a quarter of our trade, but and we took out basically what we bought at 160, but out of a quarter of our holdings of Alibaba at 160, that's down to 151. This could be a good spot also for Alibaba. We'll throw it back to Neil for a word.
Yeah, let's talk about something serious. You got millions of concussions out there, and there's no approved therapies, exactly zero. OGen, which is OGEN on the NYSE, they're advancing a new standard with its intranasal brain-first approach to concussion treatment. With that market reaching $8.9 potentially billion on the horizon, Oragenics is positioned for what is coming next. See what is ahead and book a meeting today. You can scan the QR code. Check the link in the description as well, as this movement to the downside certainly rocking just about everything. The Qs just went red for a brief second before tapering off a little bit here. Okay, well, you can't break the trend if we keep going to the downside, unfortunately, so forget about silver for a second. Apple is still bouncing. This is part of the reason I keep thinking that we're going to get a bounce. Look for the longs that I like, and I liked it in silver. Apple is all green in the last 15 minutes as it gets off the lows a little bit here. Let's double check some other Mag 7 names for you. Meta, Yikes, Bitcoin just lost 87.8. New fresh lows again on Bitcoin. Meta's holding the lows, so both Apple and Meta are starting to hold up a little bit better. NVIDIA is making higher, NVIDIA is making a potential higher low, and I just spotted this, so I'm gonna draw this for myself. This is just for me. So we've got a little bit of a downtrend on NVIDIA, which is coinciding with the volume weighted average price. So it could easily break this downtrend, but it hasn't done it yet, that's for sure. Still heading lower is NVIDIA. And then Intel was another one. That was the other chip name. They are closing in on an acquisition. You know what, it hasn't been announced officially, but they are closing in on an acquisition of Samba Nova, and the market punishing them like just about everything else.
Yeah, we actually have a new position right here, AMD. So we're going to go long now and see if there's some sort of a bottom opportunity here for advanced micro devices in this space. I don't know. This is obviously a risk here as we wait to see where AMD goes from here. It hasn't been a great trade to today so far. I mean, it started off pretty good. I'm just going to use 211.50 and just to see if there is a bottom incoming here for advanced micro devices. So give it to that low. We'll get some 212s, and this is a comfortable spot for me where we are right now, just waiting around to see what winds up happening. Now we have about a unit or so of this trade, a little bit lighter than we normally would have on advanced micro devices, but I'm comfortable with the amount of shares that we have right now. Let's see if it wants to work out for us. AMD trying to go 2 for 2 today, and here it goes, a little bit of a move higher. Let's get something out at 40 because that's kind of where we started this trade there, and that's only going to be 25 cents, but we'll get out at 10% if we can right there, as you know that shelf hasn't necessarily held today. So here it comes right back into 212 again, looking for really 213s, and that might be it. Our out is 211.50. So as we said, breaking the low of the day for me on AMD gets me out. And there, okay, we're right there at 230. Did we even get that fill? Wait a minute, 212. Oh no, I'm at 212.40, my bad. So there it is, yes, there we go, and that's it. Here we go, 2 for 2 right now, holding on. It's not big money or anything like that, but we'll just take 25 cents or so out of AMD, and my price is gonna change because remember, it goes first in, first out. So like right now, it basically shows me flat, and now we'll wait to see what winds up happening with advanced micro devices as it's upside. We had Tesla early. Oh, Tesla came out, it broke through the 50-period moving average just now. So a big time win for us on Tesla, man. It actually gave me what we needed today just to be enough of it. But here it comes, man. The move is continuously going lower right now with advanced micro devices. I'm going to get something out here in the teens if we can. That just cracked.
Really? NVIDIA's breaking trend upside.
Upside, okay. So maybe I'm going to hold on to this. Here we go. Let's go AMD, man. Now starting to go upside. Let's go AMD. Let's see if we can get this one, man. Big position, not big position, but big potential here, I think, for advanced micro devices. Right back at high of the day for myself.
Yeah, so like I might have just mentioned that NVIDIA is breaking trend. Silver is also breaking trend back into the upside. Here, I'll show you NVIDIA first because more people are going to care about NVIDIA. There's NVIDIA absolutely screaming now to the upside and breaking the trend line. Because that's going to get to the high of the day. I was on the silver chart when it was breaking trend, so I jumped into that one. But NVIDIA, very similar. We can pull back in. The market is making a nice bounce, led by, okay, it definitely NVIDIA, but no longer Apple. Really Apple, okay. Apple had been bouncing off the lows, but that's certainly not happening anymore. So chips are bouncing. Apple is not. The metals are starting to go. The Nasdaq is very slightly, and I'll show you guys the Qs. Still don't have any data on the Nasdaq. Oh, goodness. There's my 15. Like, you're still red, but you are with a bottoming tail wick here on the NQ, or the triple Qs, I should say. And we've just gone green, as you guys can see. Unfortunately, still don't have our quote for the futures. Is kind of frustrating because I'm used to looking over and looking at my futures chart, but my ES is not really moving. So Nasdaq trying to bounce pretty nicely in here. High of the day on NVIDIA. I'm looking for the dip back into VWAP. I'll play the same thing here in silver. And for everybody that might be interested in that bankrupt name, or sorry, potentially going bankrupted name, iRobot's really calmed down. Same range all morning long. It's held VWAP. It's held that halt price originally. So if you actually held that halt breakout, it's gone very slightly against you and hasn't broken out the upside of the range. That might set it up for a 150 break, as now you have a double top at $1.48, $1.49 there on iRobot. Great volume, but it's now way too tight a range. I want it to do something, break higher or break under. Otherwise, I'm going to be done with this thing.
All right, well, I mean, you know, generally speaking, you guys know I'm trying to look for like high quality setups. I mean, I think everybody is, but we might have found one again. And here we go, man, back to back. We had, first of all, we had a $10 winner on Tesla, and now we'll see. I don't think we're going to get 10 on this one, but if we can get some AMD love breaking through this, 213 would be the first case. So I'm actually out of half right now. I'm waiting to get one more piece out right now in the 90s, and then we'll be out of half of our, almost, out of half of advanced micro devices. I mean, we got the low of the day, essentially. It just broke. That little bottom wick scared me there. I probably should not have got anything out there. But then there's the whip right back up into 213 again. So now we'll be able to see where exactly we're going now with AMD. So just it's on my mind, and it's our next trade there. We did get stopped out of Tesla, which is fine. We said it was going to break through 274, so that's going to be the stop out there. Our focus, my focus right now, turns over to advanced micro devices. And, you know, I said this was going to be one that we'd like to short, but the short already happened there. So we'll play a little bit of a beefy move back up there to the upside, but you can see on the TSX, shout out to Toronto, on the Qs right over here, we've just stopped at 614 again. So we've just made, in the last 5 minutes, we've made a high in the 614 to 615 area. It doesn't look like the Nasdaq wants to continue too much higher. So again, take out half, right? Make a little bit of money there. Could wind up, well, we're still long at 212. I mean, you know, I'm going to get out another, let's get out of 3% more or so right here at 50s if we can. But if it falls back in, it falls back in. I mean, that's part of the market. Our stop is 211.50. We talk about making sure that you have the appropriate risk and you have the appropriate stops for your trade. So just in this one getting a little more exciting here, I'm going to start to piece a little bit more out of AMD because it doesn't look like the battle back is happening here at all right now for the market. So we'll give it another breath, but it's not going to be for too long, man. We don't want to just completely give up what we've made by holding this all the way back in. So 211.50, we're going to get out now. It doesn't look like we're rebounding too much at all here in the market. In fact, we may put in new lows momentarily. So watch out now. Probably some more things happening than what we're looking at. So we'll go over the visualizer in a couple seconds. It's
there's a ARBIOT group is halted to the downside. Someone was asking me for the tap. I'm trying to find the news. I don't even see the news here. Oh, really? There is no
iRobot?
No, ARBT.
ARB.
So there is no news story that I can find here, but it's halted down for the second time. It was a gapper this morning. The current theoretical auction price is $5.80, which is well underneath the low of the day, unfortunately. The cannabis names are starting to go a little bit here. So remember, it was supposed to be today. I mean, the story was that the administration could potentially sign an executive order to reschedule cannabis today. That has not happened as far as I know, but MSOS heading back into the upside. It was CGC that I liked for a bit of a trade. You could trade it overnight in Blue Ocean, but I'm not going to do that now. Just go. Definitely trying to hold VWAP here. So I'm looking for VWAP holds, pretty much the same thing in silver. If this can break the trend, the downtrend, which I think it already has, and then hold above VWAP, I'd go to the long. But just keep an eye on the overall group. Like if you're trading CGC, have a look at MSOS. You don't want one to start tanking and then you're catching a falling knife while the rest of the group is tanking and you're thinking CGC is a good long. So silver going to try to play it to the high of the day, looking for a reloaded VWAP, which I just realized I don't even have out. So I'll throw that bid in here, just slightly underneath where it broke the trend. On high-ho silver. Seriously, Bitcoin? Bitcoin's IBIT's right back to the low of the day. This market, yeah, I mean, I want to say led to some extent by this breakdown in Bitcoin, it feels like to me, because it's much weaker than the Qs overall, and we're just cruising lower. It was big-time trend break, huge bottoming tail candle, which is usually pretty bullish, right? What does it do after that? Immediately sells off the 88,000 level. So there's no strength whatsoever in crypto, unfortunately. Got to look elsewhere.
Something I noticed about Bitcoin is there's a lot of people that talk about where they think Bitcoin's going, but I'm not sure people are sitting here actually buying these dips. And I think that we had Michael Saylor.
He is.
Yeah, he is, exactly. Yes. He bought 10,000 at 92 or something like that. And I just feel like there's a lot of talk about where Bitcoin's going.
Yeah, where's Tom Lee at?
Yeah, where's anybody at that's trying to buy these dips? We can all hold it, but it's okay, how long is this thing going to go for to the downside, and maybe some buying spots at 74, 75?
I'm still sitting in the mid 70s because Like I've been semi-convinced that that's where we're heading technically, so I don't want to buy it anywhere else until I feel like it's done with that level. And it's not that, look, I want it to go up. I would love for Bitcoin to go up. But to me, you break a major trend line like this, and there's your next support level. If I was a shorter, then if I was someone that was shorting stuff, like you'd short it here, it never broke back above the trend line, you'd be looking to get down to the mid-70s. So why not? That's what I'm waiting for. Might not, I could be wrong about that. And we could end up like breaking back out, and the next thing you know, instead of buying 75s, like January, I'm buying like 95s. Sometimes that's the Bitcoin experience, that's for sure.
I'm going to buy a little bit of this dip down here in the market. The Fed's Myron is now speaking, so we'll have to wait to see if there's anything sparking any kind of a move here. The Nasdaq's at its lows. This is an opportunity where you can just play basically kind of, it's not risk-free. I mean, any trade you put in is a potential loss. But, you know, back into here, that's 52.40. That little bottom there, I got to move my phone over here, is 52.25. So, you know, you're playing right now a little bit, you know, on the low end of this. That's 52.25 downside there. So I'm going to give it to that 52.25 to see if we do exactly wind up breaking some of those levels there from last week. So I'm gonna try to do that right now. So 52.25 or so potentially coming into play there on the TQs. Let's go long, which we are right now. We're long at 52. We're just long right here, so it's not you know, not the end of the world where we're at. We'll give it a little bit of room and see if we can make a move back. That right there is 52.78, so we can see about getting that play. Right now 52.78. We'll get out of, let's get out of a quarter of it. If it does get back up to there, that's a decent area, I think. Just sort of where we started our last little move. And we got to, if we're going to take risks, we're going long into a market that's been falling down. If we want to take risks, we want to get rewarded a bit. So we could scalp out. I mean, this is a scalper's market. Okay, let's take out 5% here for a dime. We always tend to do that. So we'll see if we get a 68. And then if we do come back in, let's get a little bit more long in the 40s and then hold that against 25. So right now, I do have a new position in the market. It's the TQQs, which of course is triple against the Nasdaq. So if the Nasdaq's down 0.15, you can see the Q's down 0.45. So that's how we're trading with these TQQs. Possible back and forth here, down near 611, 612. Fed speaking, they could speak positively. I have no idea. So let's just wait to see. We are back down into last week's kind of lows there from Thursday, Friday. So let's just see if we can wind up holding into that. It's actually, the 12th was Friday, right? 12th, 13th, 14th, today's the 15th. Yeah, so those are the lows from Friday. So we'll see if they wind up holding right now, kind of just teetering in and around. And I mean, Tesla's downside, AMD's continuously going as well. So some of these names that were high to begin with have fallen back in.
Miran also said they would prefer an all-treasury balance sheet unless there is another crisis centered in the housing market. So talking a lot about the Fed's balance sheet here and really taking the market lower. Like NVIDIA just lost a trend line as well, so stick a fork in that one holding VWAP, unfortunately. As you can see, I'm not long that. I was so close to just sort of, yeah, we're going to close above green and we're going to punch that one long, and it's absolutely not happening. Apple continuing to head lower. Low of the day breaking here on Apple as it heads to the downside. I'm going to watch out because, well, I don't think that's a bad thing for silver necessarily. I do want to make sure we hold on to this trend. That's for sure. So if this breaks trend, I'm going to jump out of it as well. But I feel like this shouldn't be, metal shouldn't be as bad here. Let's check out what's going on with gold. Gold's still downward trending. If this breaks that trend, I'm adding to silver. No questions asked. But with everything headed to the downside, and Bitcoin just another fresh low on Bitcoin.
Gosh.
87.3. Bitcoin continues to go lower. So gold almost breaking trend. I feel like that headline, or at least the talk from Miran, should be at least positive for the metals, but it's not really manifesting itself yet. I think yet is the important part. What's volatility doing? UVX
probably going up quite nicely.
Yeah, I want to see it just to make sure that we're not. Oh yeah. Like it's starting to, anytime I see this happen, and I know this is UVXY and not the VIX, but that's what we quote here, and we can actually trade this as well. Anytime I start to see it with like a parabolic top as it goes into a resistance, that's not exactly the moment that I want to be punching short stuff necessarily, because I'd like to see it settle down, consolidate, and then start going again. So seems like you're in a kind of a heavy candle to try to be picking up like some kind of a turn level here for the market.
All right, so right here, let's have a quick little broader look at this market while we go here. Good day here for some of the banking stocks. We talked about Visa would be a downside play, but in the financials, Berkshire going higher. Let's go market, man. We're long right here. The JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs nicely going as well, Morgan, Citigroup. So all of the banks really starting to go there today. Robinhood getting kicked in the face. We talked about that. Robinhood down 2.7%. Bitcoin also down 5% with Coinbase there down 5%. So Bitcoin and Coinbase going lower right now together, lockstep. You know, the big trade of the day obviously is going to be on Tesla today. That's going to be up 3.37%. We like the Tesla long. That is for sure coming through again. That's Tesla. Yeah, and then electronic technology, man. I mean, NVIDIA, Apple, Broadcom continues lower today. Not great for them. Obviously, they're Micron ahead of earnings, which I didn't even know about. That's coming this week as well from Micron. So that should be interesting, up 1.5%. I would say sell that name almost immediately, but what do I know? Energy as well today getting hit. So I put a little bit of gas in the good old Volkswagen there, the Atlas over the weekend, but pretty cheap. I think about $1.20 a liter right now. We'll see what's going on. Yeah, I think maybe even under that. So there you go, 116 right now. So nice move there. So cheap energy around here these days. So that's nice to see. And Eli Lilly just continues, man. I know they had a little bit of a downdraft last week for Eli Lilly, but you can see I'm trying to click on it and it's not opening. So we'll look at that chart in a minute. But AbbVie, Eli Lilly, J&J's at all-time highs. Merck's an interesting name. So is Bristol Myers, wherever that is. But right there, Pfizer 1.3%. As well. I don't know. I don't see Bristol on here, but yeah, Eli Lilly. Let's just have a quick little look as it's not loading up on TradingView. But LLY did kick out to about 1150 or so, I believe, was the high last week there, and yeah, right into there 1125 or so, and then it had 9 or so straight down days. We actually talked about that as that was happening, and yeah, man, it did happen, and now you get four days or so of upside momentum back for Eli Lilly. Look, we're holding on by like the skin of our teeth here with these futures. I have like 2 units. Generally speaking, we'll have 4 or 5 units on a trade that we really think very strongly about. This hasn't really started to go yet, so I'm just going to try to wait for this one. If it does give us some 30s, our stop is breaking through 20, so I'll take a 30 long if that's going to happen, but right now it's kind of like just down, down, down. There it is. So yeah, okay. Now we're in a problem right now. So we're getting closer to potentially getting stopped out here of the TQs, but here's a nice little move backside right now. So, all right, we'll take some out now. All right, good level here. Now, we did have 4 units down there, so we're going to start to take some more out here as we're right back now to the high of the day. So for myself, P&L wise, not the market. If the market went, then oh boy, we'd have something right now. But let's take some out as this just sort of drifts a little bit higher. Look, I feel like I'm in a bit of trouble here, so we're going to exit out as this starts to climb up. So here it comes. Now let's see if we can go. Good trade there. We'll pat ourselves on the back. A good old Barry Horowitz right there for that TQQ trade. We told you we're sitting at 52.30s. We get it. That gives us our 4 units, and it lights it up. So there it goes. Huge move back up for the TQQs.
Yeah, I think we're starting to break trend. It's almost as if something happened in the market that we wicked the bottom and then just came higher. But I'm looking at SoFi particularly. We tweeted about this morning. SoFi, and we'll talk a little bit about the chart in a second because we just broke trend on SoFi. So I'm long. There we go. That was weird. I just put like a midpoint in there. And it took a second to get filled. Well, it took a second for the message to come back that I was filled. So we're going to get out if we lose this $0.50 or just underneath that $0.50 on SoFi. But trend break all the way from the open. So looking for a VWAP retracement here, or I guess it'll be a VWAP bounce because it's going to the upside for SoFi. So I'm going to get some orders out. There is, yeah, nice bounce. Looking like it's finally happening in the market. As we'll go to my left and take care of some business.
Yes, we will. And right now, we want to make sure that everyone understands BTCC right now. Yeah, Sharif, someone will get the door for you, my guy. Don't worry about that. You know, BTCC, there are top 30 globally ranked exchange right over there. They've never been hacked, and they have 0 KYC if you're in the US, Canada, and into Europe. And of course, through Trader TV, you get 100 USDT. So definitely scan that QR code there. And they're also going to give you $15,000 back on your losses as well. Go check them out over there. BTCC should have everything y'all need right there. So go check them out. All right, there goes. We want to thank them for sponsoring. Scan the QR code and get more information. And please do your own due diligence with anything that you see. All right, there goes there goes TQQs. Good move again, back down in. So we are out of more than half of this trade here as we get a huge move up. I told you we were nervous about it. So good move up, get out of that. And I just want to go over risk management quickly because I've lost 10% on AMD what we made on Tesla. So like we get questions about like what's changed and everything like that. We got that one from Adam, and it's just like being more responsible with your losses. And there it is, right? So it'll be a very green day, and most of it is Tesla, of course, and it's because we didn't hold this. So we'll lose 10% of what we make on Tesla right there on AMD. So that's exactly the kind of stuff you're trying to do, right? This had a chance to be just as good as Tesla, but unfortunately it didn't happen, so we throw in the towel, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. And I think that once you realize the trade's not gonna work, then you do essentially want to get out. And so that's basically what I'm doing right now, just taking like a dime or at most if we can on this. My stop on this is 52.20. So we'll take some money here on the TQs and then give some of it back, right, if it breaks. So hold it in case it does have that chance of going for sure, but make sure you do pay yourself, right, when you're in the money on some trades like that. So yeah, so far so good here today. We did give up we're not up now 2 times our goal. We're just about 1.7 so right now because we did lose a bit there on that AMD trade. So here comes the TQs right back in again. So yeah, we're just gonna sit on our hands. I'm not gonna reload this one. But so far, so good today. Nice green day.
Yeah, there was just another halt to the downside. I'll get there in a quick little second, but I'll give you the update. Took our trend break trade.
Oh, the futures.
The futures just broke again, but we broke trend line, so I'm like, yeah, we'll go long here like we always do. And like Sean said, it's all about risk to reward. Prior bar, when it's a wick like this, I don't necessarily use the prior bar. I think I mentioned that before. So I'll tend to look at the body of the prior support level because I don't like wick bottoms for outs. Why let it get to that liquidity zone? You can save yourself 4 or 5 cents, but risk about 13 pennies. We're looking to capture a 30-cent move. Now, if I get out all the way, I'm getting out at an average of half, let's say 15. So a little bit, it would have been a little bit better than 1-to-1, but we just broke down on SoFi. It's Luminar that you might have heard me say under my breath filing Chapter 11. So they are halted downside at 80 cents.
80 cents.
Yeah. For a second there, I thought it was Lumen. I was like, oh, no, not Lumen, but it's Luminar. That's laser. It's halted to the downside. Volume's not really going to be as big as iRobot, so I don't know if I like this. Oh, iRobot's about to break $1 too.
Everything in the...
It was a shot. To,
everything
it was
in the crypto space.
It was like one shot here on iRobot. You could have gone long maybe on that original dip or off that halt price. But I'll wait for the dollar level to come into play here. I think the dollar level is going to be a good one. If I can see a big bid down there, that might be worthy of a second long. So silver, we're going to bounce off VWAP here. Well, if it does bounce off VWAP. We took it breaking VWAP. My stop's underneath the 50 level, and it just can't seem to get to the highs as the market now cratering to the downside. I think the only thing holding the metals up right now was all that Fed talk of the balance sheet. So they're not really breaking down as much. With Mirren, I guess Mirren's probably done talking now, actually. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, there's some pushback.
I haven't heard anything from Fed's Mirren in a while, but it does look like, oh no, I still see some comments in here.
Yeah, here's...
Man, Bitcoin, this is really Bitcoin leading us to the downside. We just broke 87, 86.7 now. ETH just broke 3,000 2 seconds ago. So 29.95 on ETH, which was the strongest of most of the crypto names. I know XRP was actually up at one point as well. So not looking good in crypto land, everybody.
Everyone's smart trading crypto until this happens, of course, and we all hold the bag.
We're still going to the 70s.
We'll see where it's going. Here it is. Heads Facet. Hassett's Fed chair candidacy received pushback, apparently. So that could definitely be something to do with this move down here, as there's going to be some uncertainty potentially there in the candidacy that President Trump is trying to put forward there. So never a great sign there.
That's under 50%.
Yeah, I already said I think it's going to be Warsh already. I don't know if you were here on Friday, but we did talk about it.
We were looking at the odds. But the thing is, you can't. So on Kalshi is what we're talking about, everybody. The betting odds for Warsh is up to 1-to-1. Like it's 48 to 46. However, you can't use Kalshi in Canada, where we are located. So unfortunately, if you're in the U.S., you can that's something you can bet on. It was like a host of like 30-something countries where they told us that we couldn't utilize Kalshi. But now 49 to 46, and moving around a lot. Looks like there's some heavy action on here.
Oh, yeah.
I like the fact that it updates in real time. Very, very, very well there over on Kalshi. But hey, we can't use it, so not that much help to us. IBIT continues to go down. Polymarket is an opportunity as well, although, wow. Where's the bottom supposed to be here? I just saw Bitcoin. I'm like, okay, well, where's the theoretical support? 48.9 on IBIT, which will work out to, just going to go and look at actual spot Bitcoin. It'll probably be like 86 something. 86 change is going to be my guess. Oh, this chart's not going to load. Oh. All right, my actual Bitcoin chart doesn't want to load, so I'll just have to stick with the IBIT for you guys, unfortunately. Yeah, about 49 looks like it's going to be theoretical support here.
And the market is really coming back down in. I think I'll begin potentially dip buying some SPY here at some point in my account. It is my largest holding, is the market in general. I think it goes the market, then Google, then Apple, then NVIDIA. So definitely very tech-heavy right here. All right, man. I mean, here we go. Palantir is now coming in quite aggressively here as well. So we were just at 185 down to 183 and change right there. I was debating going long. Like, this is what we did on AMD, man. We thought the market was going to be a little slowed down there around 10 o'clock, and obviously it didn't, and we lost it, and it came back in. So I was sort of thinking almost the same thing here with Palantir, as you know, you came back in right there. That could have been a long at 184. It's not, and then it loses it, and now we continue to head down. So maybe after all, we will get our 180 or so on Palantir. Oh boy, did we ever do well on Teslas. That's 480. Our best outs are like 480 basically 20s, I think, is our best. We have a couple at 480 flat. And then now it's back down to 470 again, the sort of the spot that we were looking at initially to go long. And that's all came all the way back right now, giving us a nice little potential turnaround candle right there in the market. I think I'm going to try maybe Palantir instead of that. I want to stay away. I mean, you could basically go long the market at any point here as well for any of these names. But I'm going to try about Palantir in and around 30, see if that will hit. And then if we break through 183, then we can get out. So let's, it's starting to go a little bit, but let's see if we can get 183 30s. That's that sort of low as 15s. We'll see if we can get right into here again and hold against. So Feds Williams talking now. The market's just going what it's going now, but yeah, trying to pick out some bottoms might be tough right now. Let's just look at a bank quickly. JP Morgan does not get into our 318, but if it does, maybe that's a thing. And I know you mentioned SoFi still downside, and then also look at SoFi, Puke City, right? That's straight down 3.5%. And then Robinhood, I don't even think we need to look at this yet. They're not going to settle down until crypto really does slow down. So 117 potentially coming in here for Robinhood. That could be a good break long, but this name down 2% as well. SoFi is the worst. I mean, SoFi is down 3.3. Webull got going last week.
I was about to say, check Webull.
Yeah, 9, breaking through 9. So that's all the way down too. So Hood the worst, but Webull kicking as well, down almost 3% Webull. So yeah, sorry, SoFi is the worst, down 3. So they're all around the same right now. We should have just definitely bought some Palantir by the look of it down there at 183, but who knows as we continue to make those moves. Tesla at our posted, at the level that we had got long there at 470, looked to have been a good one as well. The 200 period holding out there on Tesla, bouncing now up $3 from their low. Market might be back a little bit.
We might have the first, like, the Nasdaq hasn't really had a green candle all morning long. As we're all down on the Qs here, now down 0.5%, but this is looking a little bit more distinctly like a potential bounce here. Look at overnight. look at Friday's lows, I should say. That could provide a bit of resistance, like support turning into resistance at about 613 on the Qs. I'd tell you what it was on the ES, but like I said, we don't have any data on it. We just bounced off of our trend break level here on silver. So silver broke trend about 57.40 half, 45 or so. Holds the prior bar, it just wicked the prior bar, so I jump back in, and I'm gonna play to 57.8, still have the order at 58 high. If we get to the top, I'm getting out and looking for a potential breakout trade above there as well. So for now, that's looking good, but without gold necessarily breaking trend, it's one thing for silver to get above VWAP. If gold can break this trend, I think that makes it look a little bit stronger in the metals, and it is a clean channel down on gold. Like very, very clean. You break this trend line, I think silver is going to be just fine. Apple. Apple's showing real signs of a bottom. 70. Look at the accumulation at 74 right now on Apple, and it's not a random level. 274. That's Thursday's low. So Apple trying to also lead us potentially to the promised land. I think you're making a bit of a bottom here. Just based on, you get the metals turning, VIX slowing down, Apple finally looking like it's catching a real bid. Probably just need like an NVIDIA or someone else in the Mag 7 to participate, and then we can start looking a little bit better here. So potential green candle coming in on the 15th for the first time in Apple, the Qs as well as the market trying to settle down a bit. But remember, we're only down 0.5%. Like, as much as we've been falling down from the open, the Qs aren't down that much. Like, you're down 0.4%. You know, I know it looks like a big move because it's the same move as on Friday, but that's not that heavy of a move overall. I wouldn't be freaking out or anything like that. But there's individual names that don't look so good. Like some of the finance, as you were pointing out, like Robinhood, anything crypto-related looks pretty bad this morning. But if you're looking at some of the bigger tech names, they're not the end of the world.
You've had a mouthful of chicken and rice there, but he was yelling about AEO because...
Did it do it?
Yeah, right there. He beats everybody there with AEO over $26. So there it goes.
It's over.
Congratulations right there on that one there, making through $26 AEO. So, okay, Palantir, still waiting to get that bid. I mean, we were talking about it and it was down here, and I didn't pull the trigger. We didn't pull the trigger also on my guy... Tesla down there at those lows, and then honestly TQs as well, man. We're still having like a very big day. I actually just talked to you guys. I mentioned in the chat there that, you know, you can tag Neil and I, talk about our trading, your trading, any symbols you want us to look at, things like that, okay? Like, you know, how our day is going, how your day is going. If you made a trade that you want us to look at, please let us know, because we're over here for you guys as well. I've traded 3 names, right? AMD, the Qs, and Tesla, basically following our plan here today. I didn't have AMD written down, but, you know, with the movements in that was pretty interesting. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I like Boeing as well. We've already bought some Boeing at $200. Looks like that'll be another good level to hold. I mean, we were wondering about it as it was tanking down to the downside, and then it wasn't Kelly Ortberg, it was their CFO, came through and mentioned, you know, that they had a little bit of an increase there in their capabilities, and I think their order book was increased, and we had a nice little move up there from basically 185 into 200, and now we look to hold it. Damn you, Palantir. Damn you. There goes Tesla off of 470. We should have definitely been a buyer over there, but we were not. So that's a little bit of a problem. And let's just check out what Netflix is doing as well here today, as there goes Netflix just cruising lower, down to $94. Broadcom day 3. 344, yuck, Broadcom. Hopefully, and again, like, this is one of those things, man. I told you, I was telling a buddy of mine, we're not buying this name anytime soon. We said that you got to give this a couple days. We saw the sort of the downflow in Oracle still continuing. We saw the downflow in NVIDIA off of their earnings report, you know, and it was just a couple weeks now that NVIDIA really hasn't gotten going at all. There might have been a little bit of a bump there mid to late last week or early last week, but then the fade is real. And with the Nasdaq getting lower, you got to worry about some of these data center plays. What we didn't talk about was the other side of these plays. I mean, GEV continues to go up, but SMR and some of these power names, that's down again, man. That's down to $18. Good to get out at 57, not good to get back in at 30. SMR downside, Oklo as well. Like, as like 83. Some of these names can't get out of their own way, it seems like, as Oklo down another 4% today, tried to get going through 110, now back down to 83. That's a pretty nasty fall. And then if you're not making money in these environments, like these companies that are big trillion-dollar companies with huge amounts of cash can't get going in a market like this, there's no way a little spaghetti company like Rigetti could get going. So we have to be very, very careful with what exactly is happening here in the quantum space as well, because there's no profits to be seen. And although you would think that with a cut in the latest interest rate, that would be better for some of these names that need to raise capital. Unfortunately, the signal was maybe 1 to 2 rate cuts next year. The market's not certain about that. And then also with the 10-year going higher, and just the rate cut might not be all roses for some of these smaller companies as well. So nice pullback for Palantir and Tesla. Opportunities to get long, we didn't do it. And then just make sure Neil's not going to talk about it because I've been talking a lot. I just want to throw over iRobot. It does bounce a little bit off 1, but doesn't quite get there. So it goes to 08s or so. So iRobot almost got into that $1. That could be a downside push there.
I think there's going to be a wall at the dollar level. My guess is you'll see a few million on that bid of $1 on iRobot. So when it breaks, if and when it breaks, the liquidity will be spectacular.
There we go.
187, a little spaghetti company.
You like that one. So yeah, that's pretty funny.
A little thin.
Yeah, little angel hair pasta action going over there. Look, I'm not here for my good looks, but maybe for the jokes. So there it goes there. Rigetti there. Yeah, that's an easy one. That's low hanging fruit there. All right, man, 73% is iRobot declaring Chapter 11. So you got to wait for them to go down to the pink sheets. Then they'll be back with a vengeance, like Hertz and all that. So we'll see what happens there with iRobot.
It's a non-zero. Sometimes they survive, but I wouldn't necessarily be betting anything on it for iRobot. And then there was also Laser, LAZR, Luminar filing for Chapter 11 as well this morning, unfortunately. Either one of those looking good. In small cap land, there's a halter. I'm not familiar with it, but whatever. It's moving and it's potentially breaking $1 here. NTCL, which is, what is this thing? Net class technology, whatever that might be. Trying to break $1 as well over in small cap land, up about 40% to the upside is that small capper. But as far as the market goes, we are trying to catch a bid here. Tesla's back above VWAP. The Qs, as I said before, were making a pretty decent bottoming pattern. There's a pretty decent volume low and a reversal, but you can't seem to break out that consolidative top here. So just looking for the Nasdaq to do that. I'm now sort of at the point where if we can't break this top, let's do this. We've been open long enough, so trend in. And now we have a trend where I can jump out of this. So if we lose this trend line, which is effectively just under VWAP, and it'll be right around break even on silver, I'm just going to jump out. Can't seem to break through that hump. So the dip buy, it has been working, just not enough. And that's the thing with the longs today. They're really not following through. That's when you have a weak market, that can be par for the course. So if we don't get some kind of a push soon, I'm just going to trend out here on silver. Keep giving it shots along VWAP, but at some point, you really got to go. And I will be, if it breaks. I mean, if we break $1 on iRobot, I'll be looking for that short. I paid for locates there, so they were about 1 cent a share for us here at Real Trading. Actually, probably a little bit less than that, like 0.8 or something like that per share. Don't have to use them, but the long really isn't following through, unfortunately, on this Chapter 11 filing for iRobot. And keep in mind, and we didn't really talk too much about this, like all those big runners in the robotic space. Yeah, remember Serve? Not looking too good either. Whether it's just following the market, maybe a little bit of sympathy, they're straight to the downside. If you're looking at Rich Tech, 10% down as well, straight to the downside off the open. iRobot bad, but not like the other robotics names are doing very well that got the bump last week.
Yeah, the only big robotics name, of course, would be Tesla, and Tesla's still going here up to 277 again off of those lows. So, this name just keeps on motoring. It's hard to go long anything in the market right here with Bitcoin still going lower, but I still think there might be something here. I mean, since we've gotten out of this, that bottom, I mean, we were close here into the TQQs last week. I mean, we obviously broke that level. So I was thinking about maybe now if the market, I don't know if the market's going to settle. The Nasdaq's not even really, it's only down right now 0.3 or something, right? Yeah, 0.37. So there should be technically a little bit more room here on the TQs to go lower, if it indeed wants to do that. Check out PayPal. Here again, $60. That could be a good little level that we're trying to bounce off of here for PayPal coming back in. There's good stories around some of the fintech plays, but not like a play like a Robinhood. PayPal's not really into crypto too much, so that was maybe a mistake for them. But now you're seeing with crypto falling down, what that means for other fintech names like, Robinhood obviously is not a payment processor like PayPal is, but Robinhood already saw 115 today, right? Like a nice bounce back up there. Now it's only down 1%. So that could be something. A little upset that we missed some Palantir. My eyes keep looking up here, but nothing's really hitting for me. We could have gone longer in AMD and bought some of those dips. I wouldn't mind going long in NVIDIA, but this is one of the names that has sort of led us to that downside. Oh, a big name that we haven't checked out that I saw some people saying Google still continues to go lower. Yeah, Google back down into 306. I think we can... Again, like a big position of mine, but I don't mind adding some to Google if we have to. That's 300 basically flat there for Google. I think, its most recent highs at 320, not even back down 10% yet. So, wait for this name to maybe get into some kind of, I don't know if it's going to get bear territory, which would be 20% like a Meta did. But Meta was up 1% today. Now it's down. So that got going, and then that got hit as well. The other big mega cap name, Microsoft, trying to lead the way here today, down to 475, leading the way to the downside, down 0.88, one of the bigger mega cap names that continues to go lower. We looked at some of the lower cap names as well, but BBAI was down 8% when you looked earlier, and that's now, so this is getting close. I think a 200 period buy could be there. That's 580 we just bounced off of right now. I think the 200 period isn't around this 550 or so spot. That could be a big buy for Big Bear. And then Open Door, we had Nextdoor last week, was the one that was moving around there on Eric Jackson, talked a little bit about Nextdoor. And again, with lowering rates, you'd think that would be good for the economy. But again, in the United States, here in Canada, we have to reapply for our mortgage. It resets, I guess is the good word to say, every 5 years. That's the most you can hold on to your rate for. And obviously with the rate game, if you're playing that game, it hasn't been great. So most of those mortgages that have expired from the COVID times and things like that, when the rates were super low, are now having to come through. And we talked about it last week with Sharif and Brendo there, that it was like 54 condo sales all of last month, and that used to be the hourly rate when it was kicking. And a lot of that has to do with foreign ownership and things like that. Is, Ontario, Canada, I believe it's all across Canada, have different curbs now for, and this was put a couple years ago, about foreign ownership and buying of the condos and of the properties, and that's come now to roost and hit some of these stocks, but not the banks. I mean, TD Bank and BNS and Royal Bank and Bank of Montreal and all that. The banks here in Canada remain real strong, man. So those have been good places to hide for the Canadian economy. Name like Celestica, which was a huge winner over here in Canada, has fallen with this AI spend problem as well. 502 down to 418. So, Celestica really on sale over the last couple months as well, back into $400. So those of us that are trading here in Canada, this is a good name to look at if you're looking at a IT, AI sort of infrastructure name here with Celestica. So definitely check that out. And I know I miss Palantir, man. Palantir's all the way back. It's so funny because I still have a bid down here at 183.30 that didn't fill once we saw that bottom, but missed opportunity there for Palantir. Wow, good move all the way to the backside.
Yeah, good move all the way back for PLTR. The Nasdaq also going potentially back to the highs. You got Tesla heading towards 480. You've got Apple, the problem with Apple just can't seem to get away from this 274. I was sort of saying, like, it's hard to envision us breaking through VWAP if it's just going to be a handful or half the names in the Mag 7 looking strong. Support on Apple, no break to the upside. Meta, very different story. Trend break, Looking like that one's going to be going for us and carrying the market higher. NVIDIA finally breaking out. I don't like that trend break. It didn't really do anything for me to the downside. Going to have to look for VWAP on NVIDIA if we can catch it. And we're close to target on silver. You're just going to be a little bit patient with this. Holds a trend to the upside. We're going to go back to the bid, dipping in, but the target's going to be up to 58. So I was really looking for that 1 point move. If it breaks out over the top, we still have room for a secondary push in the afternoon. Still think this can break an all-time high as well. But Tesla looking strong. Unfortunately, if you're looking over at Bitcoin, like it's trying to go. Oh, looking a little bit better now. Oh yeah, it's trying to go. We just retook, forget about Bitcoin for a second. ETH just retook 3,000 and might look a little bit better. ETH was stronger in the morning, gapping to the upside, but this is definitely making a better trend break here on ETH. I kind of like this better than Bitcoin off of the bottoms. But we just got the out on silver, so that must have just hit the high of the day. There we go. Look, trend into the high of the day on silver. This still has a chance to break out triple top from last week. So dip buy trade, again, just going off these levels here from Thursday. And if it breaks out that high, I think we can make another leg if we can hold above 58. So looking for the next trade, 57.5 to 58. We'll look for 58 to start holding, and then we'll play it into 58.5. Just stair step it to the upside. Like silver has just been relatively strong the whole way.
Yeah, good look on silver. Target hit. We need to have a button. Target hit. All right. So I don't know. I was thinking about people asking like, what exactly are we doing? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked at target in a while. And my target for that is like 98 to 100. We can see. That's I was going to wait to see what Lulu.
Holding up pretty well.
Said, okay, I was going to wait to see what Lulu's doing, not holding up pretty well, down 2.5% here for Lululemon. And we talked about getting some of that out on Friday, which we did do, but we are holding out for that 230. So Lululemon still has work to do on that one. Walmart continues to be the leader, obviously, in this space. As we talk about retail dominance, Walmart continues to be that name, and Costco off of earnings last week, something to look at as well. I was down another 2%. Wow, not good for Costco. I actually thought that was up today. All right, what I want to look at was potentially looking at the Qs again. So TQs got close to VWAP. I mean, just looking at the overall Nasdaq, there was 614 is where VWAP is. We're not too far away from that. Right now, 613, 613.50, 614 right there. This one got going again, 52.75. Gotta have to wait. You know, I'd like to be short this, but still waiting for that. Yeah, that's funny. Ethereum was at 3,000 in 2021. Yeah, exactly. So dead money all around here in crypto space right now. And if you're lucky enough to got out at the top, then you are laughing right now. What was a strategy, or what was a micro strategy, became a really great strategy. Now it's back to a micro strategy, as strategy down another 6%. As Ethereum keeps on bleeding, Bitcoin keeps on bleeding to the downside. I don't like the space at all. I was really close to liquidating all the coins I had over the weekend and probably should have done it. Maybe I'll get closer and closer to doing that now. Just going into cash, right, and putting it into something real, like maybe the S&P 500 or something. Right here, Bitcoin down 2, Ethereum down 2, Ripple down 3, right here, Solana down 2, right, Dogecoin down 3, Cardano down 3, everything right now heading to the downside, and the charts look real nasty like, man. Bitcoin, I'm not sure. We can double check to see what it's up on the year, and then we'll have a quick little look, and then we got to figure out what's for lunch as well. We're going to head over to the gym to see what's going on over there. Bitcoin, US dollar. Let's go over to the daily chart, and then we'll just eye it. I mean, obviously, I can just ask any of these LLMs what's going on, but still not bad. Here's 2025. So if you go to January 1st, in and around 2025, we are now down year to date on Bitcoin. So with the Nasdaq up 20% and ES up 16 or 17%, you know, you've been sitting in Bitcoin collecting obviously nothing on that position, and now it's red for you. So that's the interesting part. Obviously, we'll wait to see. There's a lot of stock as well. And it's not just crypto, right? There's a lot of stock that is also near their tariff tantrum lows. So this is getting to be back into that $80,000 mark, and I think that's the last time we saw really any strength in this space. So 80,000, we'll see if a dip buy can hold that. The last dip was 84, so that could be bought, and now we're experiencing another dip right now. So look, like these are lows there, but then we also made higher highs on that last battle back. So just a couple days ago, we were at 95, 96. So, you know, obviously if you're holding crypto, and we know that less than half of you are in our chat, you guys might be the smartest ones around. But if you're holding crypto, you kind of know the ebbs and flows of it. So, you know, do you expect to be down 35% from its highs? No. But
that's the most normal thing ever.
You know, that's the one thing you want to look at. I think it's a little nerve-wracking because right now they've shown their hand up here and it was not bought up. They tried to get back going, was not bought up again, tried to get back, not bought up, tried to get back and went. So with all these ETFs right now, you possibly, I just told you, like, I think you possibly have seen the top for a while now in Bitcoin, and maybe the rotation might be back into this, but I don't know. For me, I think the S&P 500 right now is a lot better, but we'll wait to see what's going on as we go. But it's
there's room for both. Yeah, look, I like the S&P. I'm back to S&P over Nasdaq at least for next year, anyways, on the dip buying. But just to maybe take a different look at Bitcoin, because I look at these key levels, like the double top, that was our breakout point, like that 2024 breakout at 74,000. That dip was 74 to 50. That was a third. When this breakout happened, it double topped at 108. The pullback was to 74. So that was a third. And then this triple top up here at 123 is pulled back so far, stop me, a third. So unless this, like if it breaks that support level, then you've got something a little bit different happening on Bitcoin. But this entire stair step up has been essentially making a double or triple top and then pulling back around 30 to 35% every single time. And that's for the last couple of years. So this, it's not different until it does something different. Ooh, the market just did another turn.
Yeah.
Like literally as I was saying that, I looked up for a split second, and I guess we're not going long over 58 on silver because that's starting to pull back in here. NVIDIA just made a right turn as well off of VWAP. It can't seem to break out either. Yeah, you know what? Someone said, what's wrong with NVIDIA? I don't know that there's anything necessarily wrong with NVIDIA, but when it gets to resistance lately, it's not punching through. Like 178, this was when the news dropped on Friday, right about 11 o'clock. It was that Oracle OpenAI headline. And after that, it tried to break 178, failed initially, and then failed a little bit later in the afternoon, and it's failing that exact same price today. So any buying needs to press through 178. If we can do that in the afternoon, NVIDIA is a breakout. Market gets through, if the Nasdaq gets through VWAP, my guess is it probably doesn't do so without NVIDIA. And if that's the case, then NVIDIA becomes an afternoon break at 178.5 or so. But until it can chew through that resistance, we're still, I don't want to say penalty box, but range bound is a better way to look at it.
All right, let's go over and figure out what's for lunch. All right, today's a tricky one. Today we have the flag of Japan. So you'd be thinking, like, we actually ordered, we got in some nice takeout on Friday night. It was a busy one. We got some sushi, which are just the rolls, and some sashimi as well. I like the whitefish there. So the sushi was really good on Friday.
You don't seem very excited for this. But why the
Teriyaki tilapia.
You know what? I should have known. The second you made that face, I should have known it was a tilapia. But in my head, I was like, but there's no way that's going to be a Japanese thing, so it can't be.
Can't believe I'm reading this.
It's actually kind of funny, to be honest with you.
It threw up in my mouth a little
Actually kind of funny.
Teriyaki tilapia with, of course, Japanese vegetable pilaf, steamed vegetables, and chef's choice salad. All right, well, it's a good thing it was a fantastic day trading. That's what's for lunch. All right, well, I hope you guys found that pretty funny right there. Yeah, I got to add some color to the show at some points, guys. There it is.
I find the caterers funny.
Teriyaki. Yeah, well, some people find me funny, but
they're forcing the action with this country thing.
There we go.
Like, it's incredibly unnecessary. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, it's good, man. I really like the country thing. It adds some flair to the what's for lunch. But that's what's for lunch, and right now let's figure out what's on Neil's mind.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about limited risk trading, everybody, because when you're risking your own money, you might be afraid of losing. You might not have enough to start, and that might keep you on the sidelines. So Trade the Pool is transforming how you can engage in the markets. They got the limited risk trading model. So you use funded capital, and Trade the Pool is going to take the downside. So you can focus on discipline, consistency, and growth. So you hit a profit target, and once you do, you can keep 70% of those profits. This is the evolution or revolution called limited risk trading, and you can find it at Trade the Pool. If you visit Trade the Pool or scan the QR code right now, you can get 10% off your first evaluation. Shout out to Trade the Pool. We'll be talking to Mitch, I believe, tomorrow morning. So shout out to Mitch, and I want to thank him. I want to thank Trade the Pool, of course, and not just Mitch. We had Steve on and last week on Thursday, I believe, as well. So shout out to both of them and appreciate them both. Only about 3 minutes to go before we go, I don't know if this will be covered in the midday. Might be. I mean, iRobot's moving around. It's a small capper, but it's still trending towards that potential dollar break here on iRobot. Remember, they filed for Chapter 11 here. Sometimes you get a dead cat bounce. It doesn't look like it's much of a bounce, unfortunately for them. And it was them and Luminar that are both headed to the downside. Bitcoin's still finding a lot of trouble getting off the schneid, as we had said. And Ethereum almost exactly at 3,000. This is ETH right now, trying to hold 3,000, but on ETHA, you've got what looks like almost a triple bottom starting to form. So I'm gonna like this for a potential next trade a little bit over Bitcoin for a couple of reasons. One, it was moving more this morning. Two, if it breaks this trend down, then it's doing so holding 3,000, which is a big technical level, which I like. So I'm going to favor that one over ETH or over IBIT for the next trade. We got NMOBC Usher. If you are not long 17 after Sunday, you're wrong. If you are not long, if you're not long, obviously.
That's what I was waiting for you to figure it out.
Okay, look, my brain is going to always go to something in the markets, but if you're talking about this guy right here, the best player in the NFL, you're absolutely right. But here's my thing, and I'm a huge homer. I'm a big Buffalo Bills fan, but I can be honest about what's really going on. If you have a quarterback that needs to play perfect and save your butts every single week, it's a difficult way to win it all. Not impossible, but that's a very difficult thing to put it all in. You can't go down 21-0 or constantly be down at halftime. You just can't always do that. It's not a viable strategy, in my opinion, in the long run. But the guy is unbelievable. It's just what he's able to do week in, week out. This is a good year for them because there's a lot of injuries to a bunch of other teams.
Yeah, this is the year.
We just got Bosa back. He made an instant impact.
And then you have Mahomes going down. So I just saw you up there, Machiavelli. Sorry about that. Generally, Andre will tell us if there's super chats and try to throw them up, and sometimes we do wind up missing them. It's nobody's fault, and I don't want that to be the case. So thoughts on Micron. So what day are they reporting again?
It should be Wednesday.
Okay, so my thoughts are negative on them. Or tell you that, but again, it's the price action would tell you potentially different. I mean, obviously today today it's up. Obviously, we can look at that, but not to tell that it was going to be an easy up day. I don't think that was the case at all. But for right now, Micron, the reason why I think a little more negatively than maybe I should be is just the way we've reacted to Broadcom. Broadcom was a double beat. Top and bottom line, down now 18% or so, including today, right? So you can't be happy with the way, AVGO has traded, right? This was one of, I don't want to say the leader in the space. I don't think it was necessarily the leader. I mean, I think NVIDIA is always there, but Broadcom was at the highs, all-time highs, and looked like it wanted to ramp, right? And I just think when you look at something like Broadcom and you look at something like Micron, and again, it's like I'm not a expert in the RAM space, although my son seems to think that we got a great deal when we bought it a couple weeks ago or months ago. When you're up here like that, you've had a good run. I just look at its peers and would say, you see SNDK as well, SanDisk to the downside. That's been following pretty good as well off of their highs. So let's just wait to see 280 down to 204. That's down 20% now. And I just think Micron, I'm not sure what they're going to say, but I'm not sure it's necessarily a demand story anymore for them. Like, have they realized some of that profit on their most recent talks and the calls of other companies, definitely pumping the tires of Micron. And they have a very humbled sort of CEO, so I'm not sure what Micron's going to come up with their report. For me, Machiavelli there, I would be short. Or I wouldn't actually, instead of being short Micron, for me, I would stay away from Micron. I just don't know what's going to happen. I would favor the short rather than the long, but.
You know what, I think.
Who knows?
I think the easier way to say it is if you long, you'd sell if you were long. You know? If I was long on any of the memory names, in earnings this quarter, whether it's SanDisk or MU or what was the other one that's going crazy? That doesn't really matter. SNDK, which I think is worse than.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
I think you just you bring the register. Yeah. Like, why not? Yep. You know,
Palantir was down, NVIDIA was down, Broadcom was down, Oracle was down, like Meta was down. Most of the companies, Google. Different story, but now heading back to the low side. I just not sure about this whole AI spend thing. Obviously, I think demand's going to continue to higher. I don't think people are still going to be buying these chips.
SNDK could be on the verge of a real down move. Oh man, it's obviously.
Here's the right way to say it.
This didn't look good. Like, this looked bad on Friday as well. This was down like 12 to 14% or something on Friday, but I think this one breaks 200 and it's nasty, and SNDK is probably weak.
This is why we want you guys in the chat. Like, I just found this. I mean, this is exactly what we're talking about. I think the risk is to the downside. So the risk is to the downside. So that's the problem, and I think you nailed that right there. So I want to say thank you to everybody as well. All right, it's 11:02. Sharif has arrived. Good to see him. So he's in here now. Sharif and Joe for the midday. Good show so far. We're back at 2 o'clock, but for right now, 11 to 2, it's midday time. Well, they'll be talking about tons of stocks, probably about the weekend, and we're going to get ready to go. So let's go over right now. We're going to go get that teriyaki tilapia. Yay. How do you feel now, Japan, giving us that? I like teriyaki, though.
Oh, I love teriyaki seasoning.
Nothing teriyaki, I don't know. But anyways, all right, ciao for now. Over to the midday.
That is incorrect, Sean. We're going to be talking about American Eagle the entire show. We're not going to be trading anything else other than American Eagle Outfitters. My man, boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the midday show. That's your boy, Joey Options. And I'm Sharif. What up, my man? Aaron and Dino. We got Durant Gordon. Why not? Why not? We got Peter Raz, Pi. We got Jody. We got I Grow Fighting. We got, who else? Christmas, Victor,